And now, from the bowels of the internet, it's the Hate This Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children and haters of all ages, welcome to Season 2, the season premiere of the Hate Bit Podcast. I am the mighty Yellkaos. Joining me, standing 6 feet 10 inches tall, weighing 294 pounds from Truth or Consequences, Arizona, the ravishing RazörFist.
Alright, back the fuck off, people. I am touchier than a Vatican summer camp today. I beshit thee not.
From Manchester, England, standing 6 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 184 pounds,
Soggy.
the super thought Sainted Magnus.
Yes, I'm back, and people have been wondering where I've disappeared to on my channel. Well, I'll tell you where I've disappeared to. I'm not telling you. Haha.
And from parts unknown, standing 7 feet 7 inches tall, recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, the astonishing Alpha Omega Sin.
That's diabetes. I think that you need to get it right. Tell the folks at home that it's all about the diabetes. That's what I got, and I have quite a few things I could sell you to get rid of this diabetes. Thank you, and it'll be in the info section. You're welcome.
Welcome to our show. You know what? I cannot believe it, gang, but shit hit the fan right after we left. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that happened, and people said stupid shit, and we're going to try and recap it as best we can, because I feel bad that we missed out on a lot of that. You know, a lot of the news came out, and I said, fuck! So we're going to try and make up for it. So we're going to open up with our discussion topic, and we're talking about it. It's a little bit of old news, but it ain't complete unless the Hate Bit guys have something to say about it. So we're talking about, right now, Mr. Greg Pabick and the Cheetah Men 2 Kickstarter. We got to weigh in on this because it's not really troubling, but I think it's something that needs to be talked about. Sainted Magnus is foaming right now. Sainted Magnus, how do you feel about the Cheetah Men 2 Kickstarter?
Who wants to buy a shit game for $60? We kind of do that already. But I think
don't know, that's the Final Fantasy fan base.
Yeah, I know. Well, the current Final Fantasy fan base that seem to call themselves fans when they're not actually fans.
I don't know, all the people that are buying all those necklaces and shirts and cosplay outfits and all the assorted memorabilia.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but basically, just getting back to the Kickstarters before you start ranting on about Final Fantasy bloody fanboys and girls. Yeah, Kickstarters, what is the point of them? Well, if done properly, they are a good thing. If done badly, like this Cheetah Men 2 thing, it's not a good thing. You know, it's just a mindless. It's just another way to get money to make a game that nobody gives a shit about. I've not bought any Cheetah Men games, and I don't feel like buying any Cheetah Men games. Now, is anybody with me on this, that this whole Kickstarter is a bit smelly?
Well, the one thing I've always said about Kickstarters, I don't support them because I do not I do not support charity that benefits private enterprise. If this were something that we're going to help, you know, the community abroad or help people, that's one thing. But this essentially means that you couldn't get financing from a bank, and so you're going to beg the internet for it. I find that deplorable.
I find that
Yeah, I personally don't agree with it, but I also am so apocalyptically ambivalent about Kickstarters, it's not even funny. Like, people are making such a big stink about this Kickstarter or that I do not care. I don't care. If some retard wants to hand his life savings over to some embittered homunculus on fucking Kickstarter who wants to, you know, build a better fucking dildo, I don't care. Like,
Good points.
It's your dollars. Just give it to them. Just stop pissing and moaning about it. I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the casinos have been working that very same way for many years.
I know, right?
Yeah, let's just elaborate what he wants to actually do with this Cheetah Men 2 project. Basically, what he wants to do, he wants to get the last two levels to actually work on the game. That's level 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. 3. But nobody actually wants that game. I personally don't want that game.
I really think Go on.
I'm
please.
just wondering how many stupid arseholes are actually going to pledge anything to this thing. You know, anybody that gives money to this particular Kickstarter actually needs to go to the doctors, ask them to stick their head inside this big fucking microwave that scans whether you actually have a fucking brain. Because it's just the most pointless Kickstarter I've ever seen. Now, the Ouya one, for example, that's a good thing because it's given us something different to fuck about with. This is an old game that's been broken for years. I can go onto the internet and download the ROM for, well, nothing because it's out there. It's already been fixed by some smartass that did it, years ago. This guy's
Well,
trying to make money off a broken game.
He's trying to make money. Let's be real here. Nobody would know the name Cheetah Men without the Angry Video Game Nerd. He's trying to piggyback off the success of James Rolfe. And the fact that he went out of his way to ask James Rolfe and Mike Matei to make a little video promoting it, it belies that fact. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, my point of view on the whole thing really is I'm not. See, a lot of people, I won't name names, have already gone to detract to the Angry Video Game Nerd, and as I've said, I think in previous installments of the Hate Bit podcast and elsewhere, people hold the Angry Video Game Nerd to a really impossible standard as far as what he should or should not know, and when in fact he's just a regular guy who just happens to like games. You know, but that having been said. I think the blame here does not lie with the Angry Video Game Nerd because let's face it, James Rolfe being the Angry Video Game Nerd, that's his job. That's what he's paid to do. And of course, Greg Papick paid him to do that. And then, you know, the Game Chasers, we know that they're broke. We know that because they tell us on every installment of their show they're broke. So they got some money for that. What this is Mr. Greg Papick is trying to cash in, and see, think about that, on retroactive cash in on something. This seems to me like it would only really appeal to the hipster crowd, you know, the ones who wear Phil Collins t-shirts even though they don't like Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Or even know
That whole thing, it seems to appeal to that crowd, especially because when I watched the advertisements, like I was looking at satire. But my problem is Greg Papick, and I'm going to say this: whatever he did and however you make money, that's your business. You know, I see that he's a serial entrepreneur and whatever. That's fine. Do your thing if that's how you make your money. But then when there was suddenly backlash, there was a lot of backpedaling, and I won't name who was helping out with the backpedaling, but there was a lot of backpedaling trying to justify what it is he's done. And now I'm disgusted with him because he's broke the two principal rules of capitalism. Number one is you secure your own funding, which he's not doing. He's begging his way to the top, which is a lot how the stock market works. And then he did a rebuttal video where he showed the breakdowns. Like, you never show your profit margin. Ever.
Yeah. You
broke the two chief rules of capitalism, and I will have nothing to do with you. And I implore anybody who listens to our podcast to understand that this is an opportunistic cash grab. And if you want to get a fucking terrible game, I can give you a list. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've given a list by now of games that suck horribly, and you can get it for a lot less than $60. This is a cash grab.
I was just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Libertarian Hour with Yellkaos.
I know, right? Absolutely. You know, teaching you to manage your money, the hate-bit libertarians. That's the way I feel about this. And, you know, if you want to get it, fucking get it. But you know what? You're not going to play it, and it's gonna satisfy this hipster notion in you. Like me, I like terrible movies, and I'll buy them cheap, you know, just to have them. But, you know, you want to drop $60. Oh, and don't forget, if you spend $10,000, you get to be on somebody's show on YouTube. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, the Game Chasers.
And it reminds me, I would like to announce my Kickstarter. We're going to be releasing the long overdue re-release of Total Recall for the NES to coincide with the movie that just came out. You're going to get it. You're going to like it. It's going to be $125 for the game. And if you donate no less than $1.6 million, you will be entered onto a list to be a potential guest on the Hate Bit podcast. So if you're interested, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Alpha Omegason, you haven't said a goddamn thing. What's up, man?
Oh no, I've had quite a few giggles at the expense of this entire thing. And I'm going to go in a different direction on this. I'm just sick of all the fucking e-drama that this has pretty much created. An entire goddamn fucking tornado of people crying, whining, arguing, fighting, spitting, just everything, and it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I have to say I actually side with RazörFist. I don't care what people spend their fucking money on. I really don't. If you want to go and look, there's tons of things out there that people spend their money on that I can't even fucking fathom why they spend money on. Like, for instance, people go to iTunes and buy Lil Wayne songs. There you go. And they also pay to see him in concert. All right, there you go. Those are two things that I can't fathom why people spend money on. And anybody who's actually a fan, shut the fuck up. I don't fucking care that you're a fan. Anyhow, going forward, here's the thing. People spend money on shit all the fucking time that doesn't make any sense. If they want to support this, let them. If you think it's a piece of shit, oh fucking well. And the thing that, like, the other thing of drama that bugs me about it is people are flipping out on the game chasers, telling them that this is, like, acting like they made this Kickstarter. They didn't. They helped edit the video and star in it. That's it. They're flipping out on James Rolfe. He reviewed the game and is the reason why people know about it. He was asked to be on the fucking video. That's it. I'm not fucking justifying anything, but just seriously, calm the fuck down when it comes to this bullshit. Like, just drama. I can't fucking handle that shit. Gets on my nerves, gives me a fucking headache, and it deboners me. When I'm debonered, I'm unhappy.
And it gives embittered sacks of shit on the internet a reason to live and
Well,
a way
see, and
to distract themselves from their mediocre daily existence.
Well, that's the real troubling part of this whole thing, is the way that people become so entrenched in it.
Oh, yeah, it's
Almost-
the
almost
firebug,
as if they-
dude. It's the firebug mentality. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's people who sit, and it's an actual, by the way, it's an actual psychological diagnosis. By the way, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass.
Like normally do.
People who have ambitions for their lives who fail to bring them about inevitably become embittered by looking at people who have succeeded in carrying out ambitions in their lives, and so they find themselves drawn to things like fires and massive natural disasters and shootings, and they're the people that slow down on the freeway and look at the massive 5-car pileup and shit like that. And that, essentially, the internet is just serving as an amplifier for that kind of gibbering idiocy.
Well, that's the thing about the internet. You notice how the internet was a place that kind of propelled conspiracy theories. You know, pick your conspiracy theory, pick any one of them, and the internet made it worse. You know, blew it up and made full-blown movements, you know, some are true, some are not, whatever. That's not the case. But what really needs to be explained to the fine folks of the internet is not everything is a conspiracy. Some things just kind of happen.
Exactly.
So, one last thing I just want to go and toss into this entire fucking kettle of bullshit is I kind of feel bad for Kickstarter projects that are genuinely good, that are a good idea, and that need legitimate funding just because of what kind of product or idea that it is. Because, you know, as soon as you put it out there, people are wanting to flame it just because it's like, oh, you're asking for money. But it's like, but look at the idea. This is actually worth funding and wanting to get into. Yes, there are tons of bad ones because let's be real. Anybody who sees that people are getting free money and have access to a bunch of people, whether they're working off their emotions, you know, trying to make people feel bad and get money that way, or they just have a mindless fan base that will go and let go of their fucking wallet and everything that, you know, is contained inside. That shit does happen. But when it's a good idea, just let it be. Again, drama, bad. Alpha Mega Sin, not like Alpha Mega Sin, smash.
Exactly. And on that note, I think we should move on.
Well, I'm glad that we was able to say our piece on that. So, I guess one thing that we try to get through on all these discussion topics is fuck everyone. And,
there you go.
Yeah. So, you know, but, you know, we thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. So, welcome to Season 2, and we're going to be doing things just a little bit different here on the podcast for Season 2. Not just calm the fuck down. Calm down! It's just a little bit, just a few things.
Oh.
I know that people get upset when we make changes. You know, I understand that. But we're going to have a lot of the classics. It's going to be great. We hope to have a great big season, and we hope you guys enjoy. And don't worry, merchandising options are on the way.
Yes, we are working on it.
I know. But you know what? We're in the very beginning of the podcast, so it's time to go directly into it. Aha, I tricked you. We're going into the Hate Bit Body Bag. And if you've got a better name for the mailbag this time around, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com, or drop us a line at Facebook, or even here on YouTube. And if you have a question of any kind for the body bag, please, like I said, drop us a line. Anyway, our first piece of mail today comes from YouTube user, I can never pronounce this correctly, but I'm going to try. It's either Lupusilo or Lupusio. But he's a... Is it? Well, how is it pronounced?
Lupicio. That's how I
Lupicio.
pronounce it.
Well, you could be wrong.
He's actually a regular comic.
He is. He's a regular contributor, and he always wants us to bitch and complain about things, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Lupicio. You are driving us to an early grave. Anyway, he says, and he dropped this line not only to the hate bit inbox at YouTube, he dropped it on my inbox and Sainted Magnus's inbox, so he really means business. And he's the title of his piece of mail here says, "Companies forcing high definition on us." He says, "Greetings, noble quartet of loathing." I guess that's us.
Thank you.
He says, "I have a comment I'd like to make and a question. Have you noticed text getting smaller and smaller in games to the point that they are sometimes unreadable on a regular TV using composite cables?"
Yes.
Has anyone noticed that?
Yes.
I have.
Absolutely.
He says, "I am a staunch opposer of the, quote, hate HD faggotry that companies try to force on us. They push HDMI into our faces as something necessary. They phase out S-video from newer TVs, which is absolute bullshit, and constantly throw the argument that more scan lines is better and HD this and HD that, when in reality, most people have not the slightest idea what high definition really means. What do you think of companies pushing their HD up our noses and forcing us to adopt a standard which will ultimately kill our autonomy as consumers by devoiding us of options to connect our devices? Once again, thanks for the weekly assaulting of our ears and pissing in our beers." You're welcome, Lupacillo. And I don't know, guys, what do you think?
Simply put, well, number one, the industry has more than one incentive to do this. Number one, it forces people to buy HDMI cables and all that fun stuff. And Sony really wants to push this because Sony, obviously, up until recently, were one of the largest manufacturers of HD LCD televisions. They recently sold that division to Samsung. But still,
just want to stop you there.
So you'll notice less of a push from Sony in the next couple of years.
Yeah, just want to stop you right there with this whole stabbing at Sony. I'm actually going to tally up how many times you slag off Sony this season, and that is number one, my friend.
Well, if here's
you're
the thing, do you
now,
have an
man.
actual no? Do you have an actual counterpoint to that? Do you have any evidence that Sony did not do that? Because they did.
I do have a counterpoint to that.
So you're going to say they were not, in fact, one of the largest LCD manufacturers of televisions in the world. You're going to present an item of evidence that is going to disprove that contention.
No,
really?
I'm just going to disprove every contention of Sony ever making TVs, because whenever they did make TVs, they were good, until they started making LCD TVs, then they went very...
But that's irrelevant. The whole point is, it's the same reason Sony Pictures is pushing for 3D to be at the end of every movie title. Silent Hill Revelation 3D.
Yes.
Because they are
3D.
still the largest manufacturer of 3D televisions in the world. That's all I'm saying here, is that gaming companies have an added incentive to drop the text size and push for high definition. On the one side, if it's a lazy PC port, it's easier because the PC ports have smaller text because you're sitting closer to the monitor, and because all computer monitors, generally speaking, are in HD already. A lot of people don't know that. But so the PC version's always going to have smaller text. It's less work for them if they just bring it over to the 360 or the PS3 with the original text intact. It's laziness and trying to keep their overheads low. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I mentioned about, companies actually having stock in television manufacture and wanting people to upgrade to HD. But can I just mention one thing that I absolutely detested back in 2006 when, was it Dead Rising was released? It was released in 2006, right?
I'm guessing so. I think it was a release title, I'm not sure.
It was shortly after release, I think.
Yeah,
but anyway,
release window, we'll say.
I remember when they talked to the producer of that game, and people were complaining because anybody who played that game, God, I've played it on an HD TV, and I couldn't read half the text. It was so small, and people kept complaining about it. You can't read, and then of course none of the characters actually talk except in cutscenes. So you have to read what people are saying, and you can't read it on a standard television, and you can barely read it on an HD TV. So people were complaining, and he said, and I quote, "This game is not for people who don't have HD televisions. If you don't have an HD television, you don't deserve to play Dead Rising." I mean, way to engender customer support, Capcom. So good times.
Yeah, but every console producing company that Microsoft and PlayStation, sorry, they supplied us all with standard definition cables, forcing us to actually go out and buy an HDMI cable just to use these fucking televisions. That's the point I was going to make.
Oh, and they hike you through the nose for them.
Oh no, and then half of them don't fucking work, or they're too short.
I could never understand.
HDMI cables. Am I the only one who's gone through several HDMI cables? Like, these things actually go faulty with some frequency.
Yeah, they do. I've on my PlayStation 3 alone, I've had to buy 3 separate fucking cables for the damn thing.
To be fair, there's a lot of wires in one of those cables.
True.
There's a lot of little bitty wires in there, and I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that's probably what it is. You got a lot of wires. Is that what I'm doing? Fuck! God damn it! I'm over here defending and shit. God damn it! Here I am trying to make things better. God damn me!
Yeah. What are some games like that just have impossibly small text? Because I'm like
Metal Gear Solid fucking 4.
Oh god, yeah, that's true.
First time I played that was on a SD TV, and that was back in 2008. Because I didn't have the money to buy a HD TV at the time. But the fact of the matter was, I could not read the fucking text on anything. When I was coming to save the game, I was like, has the game saved? I had to literally get so close to the fucking TV, I got square eyes for a month. That's how fucking bad it was. But you do notice that the text does get smaller the higher the resolution game, so...
Yeah.
That's I can confirm that wholeheartedly.
So yeah, HD whatever. Honestly, we got an HD TV in the front, the front part of the house, and the Wii's not HD, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I'm blind as a fucking bat, so it doesn't make the slightest difference.
Yep.
And I just really think it's a lot of effort, all for naught.
I could never understand why the newer gen consoles didn't include an HDMI wire when you can go onto Amazon and get them for like $1 or $2. Like, that always boggled my mind. Like, I never paid more than $4 for an HDMI cable, ever.
Because you're an American consumer and you're rich, fuck you.
Dude, here's the thing. You go to, say you go to Best Buy, you see them there for like $20 and $30 sometimes. I've seen them for even more than that at some stores, but they've been lowering slowly. And I'm like, wait a minute, if they've been this cheap at this retailer online for a long time, why can't you just include them with the console if you're really pushing for HD and all that? Just, I don't know, it's fucking weird. Standard def wires make no sense to me.
I don't know, why can't the 3DS XL have a fucking power cable with it?
Yeah. That's another...
Well, I was going to say, because obviously everybody already bought a 3DS. Huh.
And they're suckers, they'll do it again, same charger, huh?
Yeah, that's another fucked up thing. If you aren't going to include the additional hardware, then you should lower the fucking price.
Yeah, I know, but what are you going to do? They fucking hate us, even though we've, given them jobs for the last 20 years. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We got to get moving on to the rest of the hate-bit body bag. Our next piece of mail comes to us at gmail.com, and it comes from a long-time contributor as well, Kyle Bew. And Kyle Bew says, first, the ass kissing. I could listen to you sexy beasts while banging slags all night long. Keep on fucking rocking. Thank you. He says, anyway, now the questions. He says, the survival horror genre seems to be mostly indie game oriented nowadays, thanks to the diluted fucks like Capcom. Do you think this is a good or bad thing, and why? What about the fates of the slowly lingering AAA horror titles like Fatal Frame, which is now co-owned by Nintendo, or Silent Hill? What will happen to those? Also, this question is directed at Yellkaos specifically. Why the fuck haven't you been live streaming? You mind your fucking business. Anyway. Thank you for your time, guys. Love and peace. So what are we talking about here? I mean, yes, survival horror is in the shitter. Obviously, we dedicated a good chunk of an entire podcast to that. I don't know. Thoughts, ideas?
Well, now the prevailing wisdom is that survival horror can't generate revenue, like what EA said about Dead Space 3. They said Dead Space 2 was sold okay, but we can only really keep making them if it sells 14 million copies next time. It's like, okay, you keep reaching for that rainbow.
Yeah, zombies with sniper rifles. That's the key to salvation, isn't it?
Yeah, they
Always
said
remember, Capcom also said that a survival horde is just not profitable.
Yep. Same
Period.
thing. So that I think is a large part of it. I think it's they view survival horror as a niche title, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think everybody on this podcast will agree. There's no such thing as a non-commercial game. There's only games that are not advertised well.
Yep.
That's all there is. You make any kind of game you want. I don't care how niche it is. I don't care how pretentious or indie it is. If you have a good marketing campaign with it, you will always sell copies. Deus Ex Human Revolution is a niche title, but they marketed it well, so it sold over 1 million copies. I think it's up to 2 million, 3 million, however much they ended up selling of that game. It was a hit. So,
About time we had
Yeah.
a decent game, though, wasn't it?
and it's a great game. That's the thing. That's what I say. Developers should concentrate on making a good game first and not worry about these fucking focus groups. And just make the good game. Let your marketing department sell it to people. Don't fucking condescend. Don't put quick time events and fucking flashy on-screen tutorials in there. Just make the damn game good. And then let your marketing department do their job.
See, the thing that's kind of a bummer is that the Capcom, for instance, yes, Alpha Mega Sin saying something negative about Capcom. Everybody, look, it's something different. So Capcom's got Clock Tower, Haunting Ground, Resident Evil. I'm trying to think if they have anything else under their little bandwagon. Okay, that's all I can think of off the top of my head, right? Oh, Dino Crisis. Okay, they have those 4 survival horror franchises. And they're saying survival horror is not profitable. You know what we're going to see? None of those except for Resident Evil. All right, so then we have Fatal Frame, which is now pretty much under the Nintendo umbrella. And we didn't get to see Fatal Frame 4, and they're not bringing Fatal Frame 2 to the States. So we have that, and I question the future of the series. And no, I don't consider Spirit Camera to be, something that can replace Fatal Frame because, well, it's not on a console. I'm talking about just Fatal Frame and not spin-offs and whatnot. And Silent Hill, well, we'll be talking about Silent Hill later, but still, it's just something. If these publishers have no faith in these franchises whatsoever, then we're not going to see them developed. We're not going to see them put out there. Because they're just like, look what's selling. Well, obviously, survival horror is not that, so it could not sell, so we should not waste our time. That's what goes through their heads, and who gets fucked in the end? Us. The indie scene, yeah, it is blowing up with some really good shit like Amnesia and Slender. That stuff's very fucking cool, but at the end of the day, I want all the other survival horror series that I like a lot. Including everything I just said, including shit like, I don't know. Hey, Dead Rising, that's one that is pretty popular, right? Right? Yes, maybe.
That's not really a survival horror. I don't know. It's more of a... I don't know how to describe that. That's kind of like a
Dude, I just
sandbox.
toss it into the mix just because of its, it's got the theme going on. Granted, it's not
Yeah, a
scary.
little bit.
It's not scary unless you're a fucking like Wetsy Betsy doll and get fucking scared of everything that pops up on screen that might in fact kill you. If that's the case, then you shouldn't play any game because Goombas will kill you too. So.
Goomba.
I think it's safe to say that somewhere in American life, somewhere in life on planet Earth, I think life was better before the inclusion of, market research focus groups. Don't you?
Yeah, focus groups fucked everything up.
Focus groups.
We were a much better species before we knew anything about ourselves.
Yes.
So fuck everything. Well, we got one more piece of mail for the mailbag. The body bag, body bag. And our last piece of mail.
Bring
Our last
me
piece
a
of mail.
body bag.
Sorry, Undertaker.
Thank you, appreciate it. You get this guy a shovel. So this one comes from Kid Comment, and Kid Comment says, "Hello, gentlemen, manly men, and sainted."
Hello. How dare you fucking insult me like that? I'm gonna kill you.
He says, "It is I, the Kid Comment. He is also Inigo Montoya. You killed his father, prepare to die." He says, "And while I wait for RazörFist to answer my goddamn Dear Ragerholic questions, I thought I would pose a couple of queries to all of you guys. Number 1, what is the most thought-provoking work of fiction you have ever read, heard, watched, or played? And don't say the Bible because it's not really thought-provoking. Secondly, yes, may I ask another question? Cut me off if you dare, but if there is one type of person you could wipe off the face of the goddamned earth, ID... Oh, sorry, estimation. KKK members, neo-Nazis, Westboro Baptist Church members, Skyrim fanboys, etc. Who would you eliminate? Well, those are groups of people. That's called genocide, my friend, and
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money. But
No, it's genocide. It's either a really horrible practice or an awesome Venom song. I can't decide.
See, there you go. But most thought-provoking work of fiction. You know who's really big into fiction is RazörFist. RazörFist, what is the most thought-provoking work of fiction for you?
I'm actually going to answer this seriously. I was thinking of joke answers, but I think honestly I'm going to answer this seriously. Watership Down. I like that book a lot. It's really, really good.
Well, that's good. Now,
just thought I'd zig when you thought I was going to zag there.
I know, I like that. Just it's good. It's good. I'm gonna have some toast now.
Oh.
So Megasin, what's big for you, man?
I've got 2.
Well, you can only have 1.
I don't care. I'm making 2.
All right, have 2 then.
No 2 for you.
The
You charge you extra.
the
You
first
can't-
one is going to be the movie and the book of Fight Club. That changed my thinking on a lot of things in everyday life. And the other one is the one of the best comic book series ever. And fuck anybody that says otherwise. Transmetropolitan. Warren Ellis. I would shake that man's hand. Oh, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going for 3. Married with Children. That also changed the way I thought. Seriously.
That
don't
made
give a
you
shit
into a
if-
man, did it not?
Dude, I've talked about this time and again. Al Bundy, I understand he's a fictional character, but if I could manifest him as a real life person, I would want him to be president in a fucking heartbeat.
You had no idea you could put your hand in your pants like that, did you?
Dude, no, but I have plenty of times.
And then when you did, you felt whole as a human being, did you not?
And you want to know what? Also, Ferguson, the best fucking toilet ever, because it makes the sound ba-whoosh.
Sainted Magnus, what's your favorite work of fiction, man?
My favourite work of fiction, I'll have to go with a movie on this one.
All right.
It's called Human Traffic, and it's basically the party scene of the late 90s, early 2000s. It's really good. I got my drug education from there.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I have to say my favorite work of fiction, and I'm going to go with the literary works this time. I was thinking about the classics, because I'm a big fan of Charles Dickens, but I think, and I wish I could nail just one down, but anything from Roald Dahl, the writer of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Matilda, I think he just writes some absolutely knockout material. Well, he's gone now, but anything from him works. If I want to pull one out of the air, I would go with Matilda.
Or the Twits.
There's that too. So and that's going to do it for the 8-bit body bag. So we'll have more of that for you.
We didn't get that answer the second part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who do we want to beat the fuck out of or destroy? Greg Pabick, Sainted.
The guy who asked the question and the Westboro Baptist Church.
Both of them?
All of them. Every
All
single one. I'll beat them with their own fucking Bible.
Alpha Omega Sin?
That'll be a literal tone of Bible bashing.
You gotta have the Deicide song playing with it.
Dun, 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 dun.
God, that's a good song too.
And actually beat them in time to the music.
I would, I was actually gonna say Westboro Baptist Church just because of a recent video, but I'm gonna go with a generic answer and fanboys because I don't like any of them, and I'll kill all of you, and there's nothing you'll do about it except for
With
die.
Hammer?
Hammer smashed face. There we go. Huh? Look at me.
RazörFist.
Not those names.
RazörFist?
Miss Hannah Minx.
You will kill her with your dick, or else I will lose all respect for you.
No, I will beat her to just plain beat her to death. I hate that woman.
At least hump the fucking corpse, or at least let me. Fuck.
Oh, whatever. Come on, there is no shortage of fat chicks to nail.
Hey, you know what? There's eye sockets, okay? Eye sockets. That you got to do it right, my friend.
Honestly, I can't even process her physical attractiveness because everything else about her, it's like I don't know. It's like trying to listen to a speech when there's a freaking dog whistle blowing. You know what I mean? Like you just can't concentrate on anything else. You know. So
hey,
that's
look,
what
everybody is learning Japanese for your information. I don't know where the fuck you're coming up with all these queries and whatnot.
They're
I
not
think it's very
learning. They're not learning fucking Japanese. They're learning how fucking high she can push her boobs up and how low she can pull a fucking top at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, and how high on a ladder her boyfriend can climb to film her from the perfect cleavage angle.
No,
yeah.
he's on stilts. He's on stilts on the top of a fucking stepladder just to get the perfect cleavage shot.
I love that
Bam!
too. I would love to have heard that conversation too with her boyfriend. Like, no, it's artistic. I'll be up here on the ladder,
No, it'd be.
peer so far down your cleavage, I can literally see your birth canal.
No, the best one. I bet you can just imagine the sound of that that entire fucking meeting that they had to to actually decide to make these videos.
Oh yeah. No.
So,
they
well,
really-
let's just describe it because I don't think I can replicate the sound.
What?
It will
What?
be konnichiwa, fingernails along a fucking chalkboard. Over and over and over again, and then stupid Japanese related fucking boop and fucking 8-bit sounds halfway through the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You like how konnichiwa? You like how konnichiwa is one word? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing that bothers me most about it is I don't understand everybody going to the video to just fap furiously because the internet is over flooding
The
with free porn.
internet. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting internet porn. How
Yeah,
in the world?
I
You
can
can't even
almost
check your
guarantee
bank
that
statement without crashing into internet porn.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely dead cat porn too. While we're on that topic, because the fact is that if you're going on YouTube to fap to shit, and I know for a fact that there are motherfuckers that do. As a matter of fact, somebody listening right now might be like, I suddenly feel bad about myself, and my self-respect has just dropped down a couple notches because
There's a thin possibility someone's fapping right now.
Yeah, and if you are, just let us know the keywords that you want to hear to be able to shoot that massive load and definitely fucking knock out the ceiling light.
Yeah, put it
But
away,
nah.
RazörFist.
RazörFist has better taste.
Hannah Banks, she's good for skull fucking. There you go. That's my
No,
two.
There you
cents.
go.
You guys, I need nipple clamps and a trained circus bear to get off at this point. So
And a car battery, right?
a car.
Hey, wait, can we start a Kickstarter for that? Yeah, is that possible? Because we
To
can't.
get us a car battery?
I need.
No, I mean like the trained bear and all that shit.
No, we should just a Kickstarter. Get RazörFist off at Kickstarter.com.
That's what I need. I need a German chick in pleather thigh highs and a bustier shouting the word verboten.
She needs a Hitler mustache. She needs to have the Hitler mustache.
No, she needs to shout the word verboten into a conch shell for straight minutes. That's what I need.
Hey.
Sorry.
Wow. So I can conjure up a car battery, but
Well, you can't even.
you have to give me some time on the rest of that. Anyway,
You can't
that's
conjure
gonna-
up a German chick? Fucking hell.
well, I'll see what I can do. I mean, wait. We'll go to Disney World. I understand they have German bras at Disney World. Okay. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Hate Bit Body Bag. And if you've got a name or a query or a question or a concern or anything at all, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. We got to get the show on the road. We're having too much fun. And we hope you're having a great time here on the Hate Bit Podcast. Season 2, season premiere. You know what?
you
We
for
were on vacation. What's that?
I was just thanking our fans for returning.
Yes, thank you.
That's
Thank you for
assuming they've returned, though.
That's true. That's true. We have no idea. We have no fucking idea.
Instead of rising or or beginning or. Sorry.
Or
It was a
revengeance,
movie's tagline joke. Fuck you.
Revenge.
There you go. But we've been on vacation. We thank you for inviting us back. But we've been on vacation, and we're going to tell you all about what we did on vacation. You guys know where I was. I shameless plugged my way through that bitch for months.
Shameless plug. I've been wanting to say
That's
that
right.
for 2
That's
fucking
right.
weeks.
And, you know, we got a lot to talk about. So, Alpha Omega Sin, what did you do on your summer vacation?
I went to Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio was definitely exciting. I basically got shit-faced and partied a bunch. I went to Cedar Point. I saw The Dark Knight Rises. I did a review in front of a mill, and people were like, how did you break into a nuclear power plant? And I just sat there staring at the comment, like, do you realize what it would take to get to a nuclear power plant, let alone record a video there? But anyway, let's see.
Just said, I got evicted, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's where I live. That's actually my house. Other than that, I've just been working and doing stuff. Nothing exciting, literally. I don't have an exciting life. So take it away, anyone else with an exciting life.
RazörFist, your turn.
I defeated YouTube. That's what I did. I had a copy. There was a copyright claim put on. I actually, I was just doing normal stuff, daily stuff. But aside from that, I actually defeated YouTube. They had a copyright claim on my Commando review, which I appealed. And for once in their lives, YouTube came down on the side of the YouTube user.
What?
So I beat 20th Century Fox. I don't know what happened.
How much did you pay him? How many?
Well,
grounds.
I paid him in bath salts. So.
And it turned him into a zombie, and they ate someone's face.
Yes, exactly.
Again, how do we know you didn't just suck his dick? Where's the evidence?
Come on, that's just implied. We all know that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you wait for the photos to surface.
Yes, exactly.
Well, St. Magnus, what did you do? You went on holiday, didn't you?
I took some time off from YouTube itself. I've not made any videos. I've made comments and I've done shameless plugging of my own older videos because people have been wanting me to come back and actually make videos. I'm like, nope, I am taking 2 weeks off. And I actually enjoyed my 2 weeks off. So I actually played some fucking games. So pretty much enjoyed myself.
Tell us all about it in the video game Circle Jerk, right?
Oh, certainly. I'm sure that's going to be the next segment we're going to do.
I let the cat out of the bag. That's all right. We got it coming up. They knew it was coming. They were excited. They were saying, you got to have a video game Circle Jerk. So there's going to be one. Hold your horses. Anyway, for me, for my summer vacation, because we were gone for a couple of weeks, I attended the Classic Gaming Expo 2012 in fabulous downtown Las Vegas. And I took some video and did some coverage and met up with some other YouTubers and checked it out. And I want to give you my quick rundown of how I felt about the event. It was a small affair. A few people asked me, a lot of people asked, like, is RazörFist coming? And I told them, well, RazörFist doesn't really like Las Vegas. And to be honest, and I have to tell you guys, we would be too rowdy for this thing. Honestly, it's a really neat thing. Some great people putting on a great thing, and the Video Game History Museum was there, and there was console stations and arcade games, and they were advertising that goddamn Wreck-It Ralph movie. I'm fucking sick and tired. I know. I'm sick and fucking tired of Jane Lynch and John C. Reilly, aren't you?
Yeah.
Not as tired as I am of Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill.
Yeah, and I really want Paul Rudd to just dive head first.
Oh, and Russell Brand.
Oh. So fuck those people. Let's kill them with hammers. But anyway, that's what happened over there. Now, I was a little disappointed. There was some events going on, as I said. There's the Video Game History Museum. There was the Nintendo World Championships Redux that was going on there, which I blew totally sufficient amounts of donkey balls at. I mean, it was just... Mrs. Yellkaos got like millions of points, and I think I got like 6. I didn't do very well at all.
And she laughed at you.
Yeah, well, she beats me at things. What are you gonna do?
You can't even play air hockey.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? But anyway, we were over at the event, and I fucking Greg Pavick was there, and you know how that went. And
he needs a jackknife powerbomb, definitely.
Jackknife powerbomb, he does. But I think they were gonna make. I'm pretty sure that's assault in Nevada, so we'll have to go somewhere like Texas where it's legal.
Oh, just
we'd have to wait for J.J. Dillon to legalize it for one pay-per-view only. You remember that shit? Remember that?
Yeah.
Kevin Nash and Giant.
Oh God. So that's coming. That's coming soon. Somebody's getting the jackknife powerbomb.
3D.
Or the 3D. We'll figure that out. We'll have our own version of the 3D for the podcast.
Get the table.
But I want to wrap this up with my feelings about the expo. It was a great time, and it was a bit of a small affair. Like I said, the 8-Bit podcast would be far too rowdy for something like this. I didn't really check too many of the.
I'm far too big for the thing as well.
Oh well, I don't know about all that. I mean, they had Walter Day. Walter Day was there. Who's Walter Day? Who cares? It's not important.
Isn't he some old referee from the St. Alex group?
Yes. You'd know him if you saw that goddamn Donkey Kong movie they put out a few years ago.
That was a pile of shite.
It didn't hold my attention. There was too many children pooping. But anyway,
Nothing
my
of
point of
your
view about
attention.
the expo was it was a good time, but I felt it could have used a little more community aspects. It seemed more it was just like a big swap meet. You know, it was a lot of people just kind of come to hawk their wares, and well, there's nothing wrong with that. It was just, you're in a place where, for me anyway, shopping for games, it's more fun to just find the games like at the flea market. They've got a layer of dirt on them, and that's more fun to me than just this overwhelming amount of games, and everyone knows what they've got, and you're not going to really get a great deal. I did a little wheeling and dealing, but not too much. It was a good time though, and this brings something that I've been wanting to talk about here on the Hate Bit podcast for at least the last few weeks. Has the retro gaming scene peaked?
Yes.
Is really well, is there really any further this thing can go? Because now and I'm going to talk again about Greg Papick and his Cheetah Men 2 Kickstarter, this is really the shit hitting the fan. It's the jumping of the shark for this scene, just to show that it has become too big, and it is, or the presumption that it's bigger than it actually is. And it's gotten to the point where everyone is just so busy huffing their own bullshit that it's kind of becoming less fun as days go on. Do you guys have any other thoughts?
Yeah, it's getting too expensive as well, especially over
Way
here.
too expensive. I think the biggest thing, you mentioned it earlier, Yellkaos, is everybody knows what they have. That's what pisses me off. Because you can never get a deal.
Yeah.
You can never get a deal. Back in the day, man, on eBay, even back in 2006 or 2007, you could get Breath of Fire 2 for $2 on eBay. Now it's like, oh, now I know what I have, so it's $80. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the fact is, you don't have it. If it's sitting on your fucking shelf, you don't have it. It's a fucking chunk of plastic.
Exactly.
That requires demand, and I don't, because I'll go to the flea markets and I'll see these, I won't say who, but people, and they've got these disgusting games, and they want like $10 and $15. Like, okay, you're asking eBay prices for something that's been in a toy bin underneath cola for the last year and a half, and I don't get it. But it's just kind of strangling all the fun out of it. And I was like, well, we just go back to retro games. Well, they've ruined retro games too, so we're gonna have to do something. Alpha Omegason, how do you feel about the situation?
Retro gaming is just an abused animal at this point.
It seemed to happen really fast, didn't it?
It started last gen. I was for everybody listening right now, I was actually talking about this. I had this argument on the internet, and it actually just pisses me off to no fucking end, where people are desperately trying to label something retro. I've seen this question come up so many fucking times, and every time I do, I just sit there like gritting my teeth and fucking face palming of, is the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube retro now? Are they considered retro? When is the Wii going to be retro? Jesus fucking Christ, people. When the fuck did it matter if it was goddamn retro? When you picked up the fucking console, were you just sitting there waiting? I can't wait until this expires and becomes retro all of a sudden. Shut the fuck up, you fucking dingleberry eating motherfuckers. Every time.
Have the idea that like the new games are going to become valuable or something?
Dude, there's people that go out and they buy multiple copies because they're like, it'll be worth money one day. This one's sealed, her to her. You don't buy the game to fucking play it. You're buying it so it can sit on a fucking shelf and eventually fucking increase in its collectability. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, I understand we get the collector's editions and it's got the cool shit in it. You don't want to fuck it up because, it's valuable to you on a sentimental level. But it's like you're buying multiple copies so you can have several sealed copies. And the thing is, people desperately trying to call something retro. And here's a fact. During PlayStation era, so the 32/64-bit era, did you ever fucking once hear somebody say, oh my god, Super Nintendo, that's so retro? In the 16-bit era, did you ever hear people saying, oh wow, the NES, how retro? When the NES was out, did you ever hear people saying, wow, Atari, how... No, you did not fucking ever goddamn once hear anybody say that, and it's fucking annoying.
Oh, more to the
point, they're just pissing on the... Ugh. I'm disgusted. RazörFist, talk, please.
more to the point. Does anybody talk about retro films? You know what I mean? Like there's movies that are older, but we don't call them retro films, and there's no kitsch attached to it. You know what I mean? Oh. So that's what bothers me is the coolification of this kind of shit. Everybody.
Retro seems more to apply to fashion And that's what it is.
It does.
Yeah.
I think that's the underpinning that pisses us off the most, because now it's just fashion. No, it's a game. Just play the damn thing and shut
Yeah,
the
either you enjoy it or you don't. I don't understand how that's like the essence of your being. But what's going on here, and you guys are going to pay attention. For those of you retro collectors out there, I know there's a few of you. There's quite a few of you actually out there, and you're going to know this. You're going to see your precious possessions, your precious collection is going to dive bomb in value in the next few years. Why? Because it's going to be over. The fad, I mean, they'll still retain their value amongst hardcore collectors, but it's going to piss away. It's going to die off.
Oh, and to answer your query earlier, Yellkaos, the Nintendo Wii was actually retro out of the box.
No, it wasn't retro. It was just last gen. It was just old news. That's all. Retro means you're nostalgic for it, but you're going to see this is what's exactly going to happen. Now, I'm going to tell you a real quick story before we move on about my father. Years ago was, when you were kids, you were remember when baseball card collecting was a big deal?
Way back when.
Yeah, way back when. Back in the 90s, actually, even. My dad, when it was kind of a resurgence, my dad bought a shit ton of baseball cards. And he was all into it. He was all about it. He's like, yeah, it's going to be an investment. It'll be worth something. And then he was telling me, my son, you can have this. And you know what those cards are worth today? Dick 50.
Yeah, no.
It was a fad. And we are in the middle of another fad. Just like the coin collecting, just like when people were stocking up on remember all the foil press covers of Marvel Comics #1?
Around the same time, you remember people buying foil variants of Pogs?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Those are worth Dick 25.
They're not even worth dick, to be quite fair.
now they put those.
They were negative Dick. When you get them, you owe Dick.
You
You owe Dick when you get these things.
You have to whore yourself out. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Like, hey, I'm going to go get that. Well, you're going to owe Dick. Ah.
So many of these fucking things, now they put them under the caps and are freaking gallons of milk. I mean,
but also the same thing with, with Marvel Comics when, comic collecting, oh yeah, these are going to be valuable. It's like, dude, there is 10,000 of this copy. The valuable comics, there's like, 1,200.
Or even 12.
And I think also the whole thing of the rarity. Oh, well, it's rare. It's like, that doesn't mean anybody fucking wants it.
Well, that's one thing I want to fucking bring up, actually. Every fucking eBay advertisement, when it comes to an old Mega Drive game or an old Genesis game or an old Super Nintendo game, they put fucking rare in their fucking title. Wait, I have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with fucking rare in the title. It's not fucking rare. It came with every fucking Mega Drive and Genesis the fucking world.
And that happens with comic books too. Alpha, I'm sure he knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You go on eBay, you look for you could look up X-Men #1. You remember that from like 1992 or something like that? It had the highest print run in the history of comic books. And
Super
people will
rare.
put
buy it now price of $200.
Yeah. People will put down rare. They'll charge $20 for it. It's like, oh come on! I could walk outside and find one of these in the dumpster right now. Like,
because you threw it there.
Dude,
you know what?
There.
See, we've brought up eBay a whole bunch, but one thing that I see abused beyond understanding, even worse sometimes than eBay, is motherfucking Craigslist. Okay, going on Craigslist, and the irony is that I've emailed so many people with links to all the stuff that they're selling, claiming that it's what it's worth, quote unquote, lots of quotation marks, enough to fucking go and destroy an entire village. Okay, saying it's worth this much. I'm like, here you go, and I always get the same response of, fuck you, you're mad because you can't afford it. And that's like, no, asshole. I can afford to buy the game for what it's actually worth. I'm not willing to shell out 10 times the amount to say I'm a fucking ignorant asshole and didn't do the research.
Unless you're on the hunt for a hermaphroditic hooker, basically, don't go to Craigslist.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the internet. Thanks to the internet has allowed people who do flea markets and swap meets, eBay and Craigslist to believe they're fucking entrepreneurs of some kind.
I know my shit. I got an eBay app on my phone.
Yeah. I've got a web store, man. You know what a web store
reality
is?
TV has done that too. Like Pawn Stars has led everyone to believe that they have something rare sitting around their house.
Yeah.
Or Antiques Roadshow.
Wait,
you know
hold
what?
up.
You're a douchebag. What?
Remember the extremely super rare Nintendo 0001, the very first model Nintendo ever created, worth $20,000. Yeah. And the thing is, there's people who literally went and lit up eBay, went and fucking, like, start scrounging around their attics and their fucking garages and things like that. Like, oh my god, I got, like, the rarest Nintendo ever. Guess what? I have a fucking Nintendo literally sitting 5 feet away from me. A fucking front loader, when I turned it over, has the same goddamn digits. Oh, man, I must be rolling in the fucking... No, I'm not rolling in shit. I'd be rolling in retardation if I fucking thought that way, and that's really
Which is similar
about
to shit. Which is similar to shit.
Yeah, pretty much. You're shitting yourself because you're retarded. So.
All right, we have talked about that way too long.
I agree.
That all started with Classic Gaming Expo.
It did. It did. Oh yeah. So yeah, fuck that shit.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. But in closing, retro gamers, I'm sorry, but the party is fucking over. The good news is you're gonna see a lot of people selling a lot of shit for really fucking cheap on Craigslist. So stand by for that.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people are going to need to pay rent in a few months, and the Super Nintendo games are going to have to go. So, but then we'll have another buyer's market all over again. Now we got bad news, or supposed bad news. We're having all kinds. We've been trying to get to the bottom of this one for at least an hour before the podcast. Apparently, there are layoffs going on with cloud gaming service OnLive, and we have some reports that say that people are being shed. We have some reports that saying people are being added. We have reports of sales. We have reports of not. We don't know what's going on. So with the two conflicting reports, RazörFist and Alpha Omega saying there's what's going on with OnLive. Do you guys know anything?
No.
First off, I have to say, first off, I have to question: are you sure? Because if I remember correctly, one pants-shitting homunculus in the comments section of one of our episodes sure was convinced that online digital distribution was the wave of the future. You remember that?
Yeah,
Forgot about
yes,
that.
I do. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
where's
Yeah,
that
Hey,
asshole?
hey,
commercial
listen.
must be true.
Where is that
Yeah.
asshole anyway?
He'll show
Ray,
up.
hey, Raisin Balls. Seems like if it was the wave of the future, then the single largest purveyor of online digitally streamed games probably wouldn't be taking 12 stockholder dicks in the ass right now. All right, just throwing that out there. Just floating that into the international unconscious.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no secret there's been reports of OnLive not doing so good. That's
Since when did it ever do any good?
That's what I want to know. Is there any evidence that they ever did well?
Well, let's just put it this way: to get the actual set so you can use the fucking shit online, on the TV, you had to pay what, £30 for the fucking controller, which isn't a surprise. Then you had to buy the box, which was another £50. Then there was getting the subscription to use the games and buying the rights for it, and however long you could use those fucking rights for, and yeah, it just all mounted up and mounted up and mounted up until eventually nobody gave a shit.
It is way too pricey. The all these little ancillary fees just stack up before long.
They think, it's not that much, but yeah.
But here's what I wonder. So from what we hear, OnLive is going to be liquidating, or at least according to some reports, Destructoid has it that OnLive is going to be liquidating over half of its overall staff. What I wonder is how many people is that going to be? 5? I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
How does anyone even know a single human being who's ever subscribed to OnLive? Anyone at all?
That's the question I was going to ask is legitimately, out of you three, and hell, even listeners right now, if you know anyone, or you are one of the very super mythic rare few, if you know anybody that is actually like dabbled in OnLive and still does, please say something, because I personally don't know a soul.
Yeah, I know
personally,
more.
I've only seen. Oh, go on.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll say, okay, me personally, I've only seen one person ever touch the goddamn thing, and that was Mark from Classic Game Room.
And even he didn't like it.
And I'm pretty sure they just gave that to him.
I'm pretty sure I know more people that claim to have boned Amelia Earhart than have ever owned an OnLive. As far as
I know more Holocaust survivors than I know OnLive subscribers.
Ooh.
Well, I know a few.
Ooh.
God God damn it! Here comes the racist comments again.
Look
Fuck
at you, Mr. Chaos. So taboo.
Goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I just came from Nevada. You know how it is.
well, you do come from a country that idolizes the gun.
Well, that's part of it too. You know, but you know.
We don't.
Why
so
are we
much
talking about
idolize-
that?
We don't so much idolize as actually give our citizenry some semblance of power to overthrow their government. That's all.
And
Well, why in the
yeah.
whole 200 odd years of America? Why have you not done that yet?
What?
The TV told us not to, otherwise there would be dire consequences.
It's true.
You've got
I
dire,
say here-
Glenn Beck says if we do it, he'll cry.
you've got dire consequences already. It's called Obama.
Okay, I
anyway.
blame pure unadulterated laziness, but moving forward with the actual topic at hand, the conflicting argument to this is, okay, the reports are that they are hiring. Okay, this is what I heard was a follow-up news report is that they aren't actually firing anybody, but in fact are hiring people, and then went on to go and say, we have oodles of money now since this merger and everything, and that our apps will remain and our service will remain, and nothing is going to change. All the employees will still be intact, though realistically, you know, after going over this entire thing, that could just be them trying to make sure that all their shareholders don't decide to just up and...
Yeah,
Trying to save
doesn't it
face.
strike you as damage control a little bit?
Oh, most definitely.
And keep in mind, you're reading from IGN, right?
From that particular news article, I believe that one was Joystick that I got the follow-up.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, if it's fucking IGN, I mean, didn't they last week report that the PSN had gone down, and then 2 hours later they had to print a retraction because they didn't check their sources at all?
Yeah.
They did a Kotaku, did they?
Yeah, and it kind of sucks because we actually go to them for, being legitimate, companies and everything. Like, all right, this is where we're getting our information. Oh, fuck. Well, look at that.
I kind of feel like we're more legitimate than they are at this point.
I know.
Yeah, more or less.
We actually we are comparing sources here on the podcast. I don't think any
This
of
is
these.
this is actual journalism.
Yeah,
We're doing
this
journalism?
right here is what you're supposed to actually do. But legitimately, at the end of the day, 0 fucks are going to be given if OnLive goes or stays, because nobody uses it. The end.
There you go. Well, here's what I'm wondering. I wonder what this means, because if they are in fact liquidating, getting rid of half of their entire staff, what does that mean for the future of the as yet unrealized Ouya console, which was said to feature OnLive?
Yeah, and OnLive is a big thing for them, actually. Believe it or not, it would be bad if OnLive went away, because a lot of companies have no interest in developing for the Ouya yet. And those companies were going to have an in anyways. Ouya was going to have an added reason to purchase it because those companies already have their games available through OnLive.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, there was a whole bunch of titles that, unless you use OnLive to play them, are not going to be available on the Ouya, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and that's the thing. I was, when I first heard of the Ouya, I was very much in favor of it when I first heard about it. Then I started hearing, but it's kind of been given this godlike status, ever since it's been announced to be in league with OnLive. But yet the detractors have not really come out of the woodwork yet. So I'm really curious how this is going to play out over the coming weeks.
But so
Yeah,
I'm looking
people
forward to it.
people are desperate to go and cling to an alternative that they think is going to be somehow capable of overthrowing the likes of the fucking consoles and the PC master race and everything. So that's pretty much what they're hoping. They're just like,
PC
yes,
master
our
race.
savior in form of the Ouya and its Kickstarter that did overwhelmingly well. And,
Yeah.
well, it still all remains to be seen.
Over £7 million.
What we end up with is a couple $1 million sitting in a bank account somewhere with no other details. Wait, that's how Wall Street works too. Oh well.
Yeah.
But speaking of conflicting reports, we're getting just bombarded with all this information. Apparently, EA may or may not be up for sale.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
that.
we know that they are
so-
doing really, really badly. Most of their senior
that.
operating officers have already sold off most of their stock. And that's never a good sign.
No, and it's probably not something you really want to do in public either.
Yeah, not so
But
good.
they did
We
it.
know that John Riccitello has sold off over $1 million worth of shares in EA. And that's crazy. and he's the guy running the fucking company. So bad sign right there.
Well, from the news report that I saw right now, which has to do with the New York Post, which is the only reason that I would even claim that there might be some legitimacy behind this, is that one of the main people who's going after it is the Providence Private Equity Partners. And the only reason that that has any kind of interest to anybody whatsoever is that they have actual stake in Bethesda. So that right there is kind of interesting if they planned on a buyout. But the thing that would make it a lot more interesting is just imagine if this is really true, if one of the big three current console manufacturers decided to go and buy out Electronic Arts. Do you realize how that would shift the tides?
But I don't. Here's the thing: I don't see that happening. Microsoft doesn't seem interested in first-party development at all. I mean, just look at the games.
That would be a good reason for them to go and buy out Electronic Arts. Do all the fucking first-party work for them.
Yeah, but I don't see it happening. Look at how they're treating the studios they have already. They're not doing anything with them. I don't think
that's very
I think
true.
Microsoft is looking ahead and saying first-party exclusives are not important. I think they're looking at, and it's hard to argue with them when you look at how their competition has fared with a lot of exclusives. And I'm not saying they're right, because obviously I want exclusive titles on whatever console, you know what I mean? Because more variety is better for everyone, and which is ultimately better for the market. But I seriously think Microsoft is completely indifferent to first party.
Here's the main reason why I say that this is kind of a different beast, though. We are talking about Electronic Arts. They essentially own the entire sports division of games as a genre.
That's true.
Okay? And that right there is a main selling point of it. Whether or not you like sports doesn't fucking matter. It makes tons of fucking money year after year.
And FIFA is one of the best selling games every single year. It's insane.
I mean, look at the tremendous amount of IPs that they have across consoles and PC. You know, and just imagine that you are Microsoft. You now own that. Okay, so now you can put this onto the Xbox exclusively. You can sit there and dangle a fucking carrot in front of the other people saying, oh, okay, you want some into this, this action of Madden and all their other fucking sports games. Okay, you're going to have to pony up a bunch of money. You may look like a fucking idiot for doing it, but it's kind of what happens, especially when you have an exclusive NFL license and amongst other things. But it just thinking about it, not to say that Microsoft's the only contender, but they have the bank to do it easily without even blinking an eye. Here's the money. All right, cool. Well, let's make this shit happen.
I think they're the most likely. If anybody's going to do it, I don't think Sony's going to, because they're not doing so well. And neither is Microsoft. Microsoft has taken a massive hit as well, but I think Microsoft is in a better position than their competition. And I'm talking both Nintendo and Sony here.
Mm-hmm. But in general, it would be interesting if somebody is going to buy them out, or you could also see a merger happening. Just imagine if something like this happens, and I say this is the worst fucking case scenario, and I hate to say it because even once I say it, it sends a chill up my spine. Imagine if Activision decided to merge with Electronic Arts. Do you realize what every bad taste ever?
Let's put it this way: they're going to lose the competition if they do that.
Well,
that's the main thing.
There's another name that you have to throw out there because they're getting huge. They just released an awesome game, by the way, fucking Sleeping Dogs, which if you can play that fucking game. It's great.
Not interested. Sorry.
But
I'm just being honest.
But it's Square Enix. Square Enix is getting huge, and they're very interested in buyouts right now.
The thing is, the only reason Square Enix is really all that huge is because of their one little branch, Eidos. Eidos is essentially keeping them afloat single-handedly.
Yeah, but that's just it. They are looking to transition from being a Japanese-only developer kind of a thing to focusing on the West, and their Western games are making more money right now.
And so Squaresoft also teamed up with Electronic Arts back in the 90s.
Exactly. What better way to do that than to either form a merger with Electronic Arts or to buy them out completely?
And they could call it like Square Enix East, Square Enix West, Square Enix Squared.
Enix.
Yeah, Electronic Nix. I don't know. It's a tongue twister now. But in general, yeah, that's another contender that could throw in. There's a bunch of possibilities, and all of them would absolutely rock the very foundation of gaming and would get a lot of people to fucking pay attention. This goes beyond just like casual gamers, hardcore gamers, but this goes into like the fucking suits that sit at the stock market working their fucking junk in their calculator.
Yeah, but more to the point, and I think this just has to be driven home, this confirms definitively what EA has been lying to our faces and saying is not true for the last year. It confirms that it's true. Star Wars The Old Republic was as expensive as people were saying it was. Back when we first started, we were talking about Star Wars The Old Republic and saying there was a rumor that floated out, and it wasn't so much a rumor because it was leaked by an actual former employee of EA, and they said that it had cost $500 million to produce, the most expensive video game in history. And this basically confirms that, doesn't it? Because there is no other reason EA would be up for a buyout. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 didn't do as well as they thought it would, but it wasn't a massive failure.
For $500 million, you could buy a sizable city.
Yeah, but
you could buy the United States for that fucking money.
Oh, I don't know about all that. You need to pony up at least $14 trillion to pay for that.
But it confirms it, doesn't it? It was a massive failure. It was Star Wars The Old Republic may take this company down entirely. Just one game. So
yeah, but it just goes to show how fucking stupid these games developers have got over the years. You know, they're looking too much with the greed goggles on, and it's not doing anybody any good. To be totally fair. You know, a lot of people are losing faith in gaming.
It's just amazing how they could have missed the mark that hard.
Missed the mark?
To that degree.
Oh, they missed it. They shot wide. I mean, for Christ's sake, they were saying they were a WoW killer. And, guys, is it not confirmation of how bought out video game journalism was when this game was released? You remember the coverage of this game? You remember how glowingly positive it was, even though the fans had clearly formed a different opinion? You remember, I remember for like 2-3 weeks straight, Destructoid just having a circle jerk around Star Wars The Old Republic. And I haven't taken Destructoid as seriously since. Because it was so blatant. They literally had a segment where they had every single person on staff record a video vlog where they discussed how great Star Wars The Old Republic was and why they're glad they're playing it and why they're going to be playing it for months to come. It was like a paid EA infomercial. But anyway, IGN did the same thing.
If they were playing it for months on end, well, I'm pretty sure they were the only people that were playing it for months on end after
that. They were making up that 100 that they were talking about?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, yeah.
They probably had it written into the contract to play the game an hour a day.
You have to. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't in a contract, but, you know.
Record yourself playing it or else.
I know. So things are not good for EA, and we'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. I saw on the 8-Bit Podcast Network of Hate, somebody put that, who was it? Was it Robert Sanders, I think? And he said that we win! Well, we haven't won anything yet, and the demise of EA, I wouldn't say is a good thing. But I wouldn't say it's a bad thing either, you know. I mean, through destruction comes rebirth. That's how entropy works.
I think EA, let's say this much. EA has a bloody nose right now at the very least. And I think that is a good thing because it will teach them a little bit of humility. And maybe
I'm going to go so far as to call it bleeding on the brain. Not irreparable, but severe damage.
Well, I don't know. Don't tell that to Chris Benoit.
But, No, I'm in favor of that. Ha ha, funny, but you know, just I kind of had to appeal to both sides there. So, yeah, not good, but not necessarily bad. It's going to be very interesting. I'll say that honestly.
It's going to be an interesting lesson for them to learn because for the past 10 years, all they've done is, you know, whittle us down and shine nickel and dime us at every fucking given moment they've got the grubby, you know, the fucking minds to do. So, EA, there's one thing that they need to do. That's bring back some of these fucking franchises that actually were interesting, and not just stick with the same 3 every fucking year.
Yeah, but if you look at the business portfolio, interesting doesn't make profitable.
No.
So, but one thing we can say here in the northern hemisphere, where we're towards the end of the summer months, we're getting into the holiday times now. From now until the end of the year is going to be at the very least very interesting. So.
Well, what games have they got coming out this year? They've got the new.
Who cares? I mean, didn't Gamescom just come and go and no one noticed?
Well, they've got Medal of Honor Warfighter. They've got Need for Speed Most Wanted remake, or whatever they're fucking calling this one. They've got another, obviously the contingency of fucking pointless fucking sports titles that get released every fucking 10 days. I'm just trying to think what original stuff they've got. Nothing.
Well, think about it. Do you care?
Well, I care about Medal of Honor because it's one of my favourite shooting franchises.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that they don't mess this.
Even after that last one, what are you smoking?
I mean the World War II versions.
Oh,
I actually did like
that last one was dick.
I didn't mind the last one. It did give me the access to the Battlefield 3 beta, so I was pretty happy.
But they got Dead Space 3 coming out.
What, you mean because it's too scary game?
Yeah. The Resident Evil 5 reskin, basically.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with that, to be fair.
Well, now that we're all nice and depressed.
Somewhere far down the road, they got Dragon Age 3, which I hope to Christ they fix whatever the fuck they did with Dragon Age 2.
I hope they just don't make it and kill the franchise off, because it's they've ruined it with Dragon Age 2, personally.
Ugh, they stepped in it.
Yeah, and any more Mass Effect games, then I think we're just going to get bored of it.
Boy, I'm glad we're keeping the mood nice and high for the fun.
I know, right? Okay, continue.
God damn, we got to cut this one off because you guys are just going to make everyone cry, and then we're going to get a shit ton of mail.
That's all right. It gives you something to do on the weekend.
I know, no kidding, right? So that's why we're going to move right into halftime. We welcome you to halftime, that little mid-section where we're going to this time around. We're calling it the Hate Bit Ball Bag, and we're going to go look in there in just a second. But something we got to talk about before we get any further along, just because we're kind of floundering around. That's what we do at halftime. And, Gamescom just kind of came and went. And what happened to Gamescom?
We got a few announcements, actually. The
what do we get? What do we get that was so
got some games. And it got some good games. Well,
I know that Sony, the PlayStation branch, was talking sells pretty high and saying that they're going to do this and they're going to do that.
Yeah, they got a game confirmation. It's a Killzone game as well. So
yeah,
the Halo killer has actually got a game on the Vita. So we've got a Resistance game and now we've got a Killzone game. All we need now is a Gran Turismo game. We've got the Unholy Triforces.
That's about the package right there. But
I can't wait to shoot people inside of brown factories again.
Yeah. No, this time they're calling it Killzone Mercenaries, so could be interesting.
I'm just glad to know that the PS Vita is going to have some fucking games.
About fucking time. Definitely.
I mean, I don't really have any intention of buying one. I'm just glad to know that because for a while, I think everyone was getting kind of paranoid. Like, are they going to keep making games? Because it seemed like everyone just stopped. Usually around this time of year, gaming, the release is slow.
Well, was it last week or something? We were off, I know, when
we were.
The head of Sony came out and said, like, publicly acknowledged they're having problems finding third-party support for the Vita. Something about, I don't know, developers. I mean, I don't know offhand, but I vaguely remember reading that on IGN.
Well, let's put it this way: they've done the same thing as what they did with the PS3. They made it too difficult to develop for. A lot of people seem to be making architecture that's very difficult to develop for, which is probably why the Ouya will do quite well. Because it's a simple platform to make for.
Yeah.
I hope so. I really do.
I don't think it's a matter of it's difficult to make games for. It's a fact that they're just like, holy shit, nobody's buying this. All right, then I'm not putting my game on there.
Oh, there is another bit of news about the Vita as well, just while we're on the subject. Sony have confirmed that they are making cost-cutting exercises to make the Vita a bit more affordable.
But they're gonna, if I'm not mistaken, that's gonna happen after holiday 2012.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime,
that was going to be the next sting in the tail that I was going to throw out there.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
in the
that.
meantime, they're trying that cross-play thing.
Yeah, they're trying to fucking get that.
well, hey, they're actually doing cross-buy now.
Cross-buy,
Huh?
that's what I meant. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
What the fuck does that mean?
Cross-buy is Sony basically is extending an invitation to all third parties to partake in this, where if say that there's a version of a game that's on PlayStation 3 and also on the Vita, that if you buy the PlayStation 3 version, you will get a Vita version for free.
Yeah, but what they didn't tell you that it's a digital.
And digital or not, a free game is a free game. I mean, that's what it boils down to. If you're going to give me the digital version at no cost whatsoever, that's pretty cool. Do I want the physical game? Yes. But I think that they'd be a lot smarter to just go and make bundles.
But you
go
were
and
talking-
take the game, bundle it, and make it like $75. That's $15 for the Vita version. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me about that, and you actually mentioned it in your vlog thing, you say it. Come on.
Oh, wait, yeah. Wait, I'll do it. Shameless plug.
Yep.
In your thing, you were saying, and I kind of agree. How are someone's getting the shaft here. Either it's the people who made the PS3 version or the people who made the Vita version. Someone's getting screwed.
Oh, dude, it's the people that make the Vita version. And I had a couple people try to make a counter argument to this, that the developers don't make any money off of this. And all I can really say is, are you fucking kidding me? Do you even understand how this shit works? They do actually go and make money off of this, and they also get to continue having jobs. If you're giving your game away free all of the time, seeing no revenue, for all of your hard work because everybody bought the PS3 version, then what the fuck? What's sustaining you after that? Nothing. And what's going to keep your job afloat? Nothing. So you just go away eventually, and that sucks.
So
I mean,
that just bothered me, and I'm sure they're only going to do it with first-party games, but still, I mean, it fucking sucks.
Well, here's the thing: they're doing it right now with first-party games, but they're trying to get third-party publishers and developers to go along with this. I think it's a really awesome idea for consumers, but it's not that great of a thing for publishers and developers. And I know this is a situation where somebody could be like, "Why the fuck do you care?" Well, the only reason that I would say I care is because if they don't make enough money to go and keep making this stuff, then we don't see a continuation of good shit.
And we don't get games. It's that simple.
Yeah, and then we can't enjoy all the stuff that we're currently babbling on about. So
yeah, and that's one of the ways in which any company, I'm not just ragging on Sony, any company that has first-party developers and goes out and buys these companies and locks them into exclusive contracts, it's one of the examples of how it can be detrimental to a developer because you can't make as much money. Like in that case, they could maybe make up their money developing for another console. Maybe they can make a Wii U game or something, but they can't because they're locked into an exclusive contract with Sony. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's bad on one hand for a developer to be first party, but double-edged sword. Whatever.
You hearing us, Rare? You hearing us, Rare?
Yeah, exactly.
Get your asses out of there if you can.
Yeah, well, everybody's fucked, that. We entered halftime hoping to have a good time, and it's just getting sadder and sadder. Fuck.
So we're
going to go right now. Right now, we're going to go into the hate bit ball bag and see.
I
Huh?
was going to bring up a nice little activity with you, but...
Were you going to bring up something happy? Well, please tell me something happy.
It doesn't matter now. No, you've kind of...
It doesn't. Well, you know what? You can save it.
You can kind of destroy the flow. So,
yeah. Poor sainted Magnus.
Fuck you.
Oh, well, So, anyway, let's get on with the ball bag. And we got a piece of mail come to us at gmail.com from YouTube user Cheese and Charlie. And he says, Yahoo Games recently made an article. He just goes right into it. He's very, very, very monotone. He says, he reminds me of Return to Mother Base, very monotone. He says, Yahoo Games recently made an article detailing the falling of the video game market. In it, they name Activision, EA, and THQ as the main culprits. As true as this may be, it brings this question to mind. Is it not these same people that facilitated the situation in the first place by dancing to the song of money that is played by these companies? At what point does their greed as humans end and their integrity as journalists, he says that in quotes, begin? I know a business is supposed to make money, but by what means are they willing to go to meet that end? It seems that modern media are a lot like a pack of wolves. They'll follow in your footsteps and be your best friend for now, but the moment you show even the slightest sign of failing, they'll be the first to plunge their teeth into both of your carotid arteries.
Big
I don't
word.
even know if that's
That's true.
And he says, as a side note, RazörFist, I recently visited Phoenix, and you, sir, must be part lizard because it is hotter than two fat chicks fighting over a slice of cake in a closet. And I don't mean in a sexy way either. Well, we thank you,
There's a
Cheese
way
and
to-
Charlie.
Wait. There's a way to think of that aside from a sexy way? Come on.
Woo! Hey now.
Woo!
But, yeah, no, RazörFist, you seem to have something to say about that. What do you think about this?
Actually, we discussed that article on the last episode on the.
We
season
did, didn't we? We
We
did, didn't
did.
we?
I kind of agree, but I think really what it is at the end of the day, they are sustained through ad revenue. That's what it
Uh-huh.
is. So they will talk something up to the moon and back as long as they're getting that sweet, sweet ad revenue check. But the moment that dries up, the moment the company decides not to pony up anywhere near as much of an advertising budget, suddenly the score starts to creep lower into the 7s, into the 6s. And if you didn't spend anything, gosh, look at a South Peak game. Now, South Peak does make a lot of shitty games, let's be real here. But there's a few good ones. And the internet journalist community, they know they can get away with not playing those, giving them a bad score, writing them off, because they don't have an ad revenue campaign, as it were, that is at risk in that case. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to lose banner ads that are in turn going to shrink the site's revenue if they say X-Blades 2 sucked. You know what I mean?
And there isn't going to be a gigantic tidal wave of people coming forth and calling them out on their bullshit.
Exactly. And Dragon Age 2, is a perfect example of that. Dragon Age 2 got such good press from IGN, good scores from all these websites. Virtually no one called Dragon Age 2 the piece of shit that it was. And even though public opinion had gone the other way, whatever, but the thing is, you went to these sites and it was not hard to see why. I mean, GameSpot was wallpapered with Dragon Age 2 ads, Game Trailers was wallpapered with Dragon Age 2 ads, IGN, Destructoid, Kotaku, you go right down the line. They were all profligate, sold-out, money-mongering fucks, and I never forgave them. And you shouldn't either.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah! You fucking tell him, man.
You sounded
All
like you remind me of one of the Road Warriors right there.
Will!
Yeah.
No count out! No DQ!
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
So, you know, well, shit, man. That wasn't spirited at all. You just came in and fucked everything and left, didn't you?
Come on, what's the next? Come on,
Good
we
for
want,
you.
want
Like
next
the
piece
Road
of mail.
Warrior.
Come on, get on with it.
Like the Road Warriors, exactly. Just the doomsday device, boom. But anyway, we got another piece coming to us at Facebook. And be sure and like us on Facebook because you can be abreast of all the details. You notice I said breast in there. Wasn't that great? All the details
Hey-o.
go to the Hey Bit Podcast. Thank you. And we got a piece of mail coming to us from Lyceos Greymoon. And he says, did any of you like Darksiders? If so, what did you play it on? And furthermore, are you looking forward to Darksiders 2? Alpha Omega Sin, you fucking rock. So, I guess Alpha Omega Sin, did you play Darksiders?
Yes, I did. I played
how
the
did you
living
feel
shit out of Darksiders. I got it on PS3 because that was around the time that my 360 was like, I'm not going to work. And I was like, okie dokie. So I got Darksiders. It is a really, really good game. It's not perfect, but it's one of those games, despite the few flaws that it has, I ignored them because it was just a tremendously fun game. It really is. Really cool level design. War is a bad motherfucker. His head's really tiny, but he is a bad motherfucker.
Joe Madureira designed all the characters, so that's to be expected. That guy doesn't draw anyone that isn't huge with a tiny little peanut head.
Did you see like just the sheer size of War's hands? Like they could engulf an entire fucking person, and his head is just a regular fucking dude's head. It's really
look
fun.
at the way. I mean, he used to work for Udon. Just look at the way he draws Sagat. Yeah, look at the way he draws T-Hawk. He does nothing but draw gorillas. That's all Joe Mad does.
As for Darksiders 2, I legitimately was going to get it today. No shit. I had went out and I ended up buying the last story on Nintendo Wii instead. I am going to get Darksiders 2. I just I saw the last story and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I was going to get that, so I picked it up. But yeah,
That's how important it was to you.
Well, it's one of those things. Just I've been busy, so I literally fucking forgot. But I picked up Darksiders 2 is on my to-do list because holy shit, it actually looks like it could be better on all fronts, and it deserves some recognition. And any and all listeners, if you have not paid attention to it, pick up the first Darksiders. It's like less than $20, brand new. And Darksiders 2, check out gameplay footage of it. Fuck trailers, gameplay footage. Always look at gameplay footage. Get the game. That's all I can say. Awesome stuff. Awesome art. Brutal as fuck. Anyway, who else played it?
Me.
Anyone?
Me. I played it very, very well, quite a lot actually. And to be quite fair, I find it very, very fun. You know, I've done about 3 or 4 playthroughs of it, and each time it's been different, and each time it's been fun. So I'm pretty happy with Darksiders 2 coming out very soon in the UK. So I'm going to be picking that up when I get a chance. So, yay!
Yay! And RazörFist has
also-
nothing to say.
I also want to throw in, dude, thank you for saying that I rock. That is always appreciated.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh yeah. By the way, fuck you. You didn't tell us that we were rock. The rest of us.
Well, you know, I mean, you know.
I'm sure that he thinks all of us rock on random levels of awesome rocketness. Rocketness.
Well, you see,
rockingness?
you also have to take into account that Alpha Omega Sin is the only one of us that appears on YouTube with a fist going woo. So you know, that adds extra rocking. You know.
Yes, and I
It'd be
flip
like-
If
all
you
the
say
time.
so. If you
Yes,
say so.
you do, and that's important. You know what? We got one more piece of mail.
What
before
about
we-
RazörFist? He didn't.
Well, RazörFist didn't care. Listen to him. He's being cool in the background.
Yeah, I don't really care about Darksiders, honestly. I don't think
See?
it's bad. I just, you know, I've played it. It was kind of forgettable, kind of a popcorn game. I'm talking about the first one here. I haven't played 2. So yeah, it's just sort of whatever. Okay, next.
Yeah. Yeah, our next piece of mail comes out of the Gmail box one more time because, well, we cleared up everything that was in the YouTube inbox. So if you have a question you want to drop in the YouTube inbox, please help yourself. Drop one.
Seriously, email us.
oh.
Do it. I don't fucking care. Send us messages for fuck's sake.
Yeah. We're very lonely people.
We're still waiting for the topless boob pictures
I know,
that we wanted.
I know.
Yeah, what the fuck? We
never got
don't
them last
have,
season.
We don't have any titty pics, and I don't want you going to porn sites and sending us fucking topless pictures because I can get that shit anywhere. No, we want legitimate hate. And here's the thing: no offense, ladies, but if you have like uneven, weird-looking boobs, just don't send them, or just send them just to Sainted Magnets.
I don't
Oh,
need them.
come on.
I don't know why I'm torturing you with
Oh,
uneven
man.
boobs. I'm sorry.
That's not fair. What if some of us like uneven boobs?
Well,
Okay, well-
send them to RazörFist. Email.
What are you going on uneven boobs? I like uneven boobs just like I like Police Academy movies and Roman Polanski's later work. You know, I love stuff that's uneven.
Nobody likes those fucked up weird bras that you get out of the dollar bin that are meant for uneven boobs. Jeez.
Yeah, this side was shrunk. This side was dropped in muriatic acid.
Yeah. It sounds like we're going to be dropped in your
Anyway,
attic.
so yeah, you know, we wouldn't mind some titty shots here, and you know, no men. Man titties. Well,
We can do
you know,
without.
now that I've done it, now they're gonna drop a whole bunch of them. Oh well,
Yeah,
whatever. What are you gonna do?
And they're gonna squeeze them together too. Probably put like a Wii remote in between. And I'm giving
Oh.
motherfuckers ideas. Don't fucking do this shit. I'm telling you, I will curb stomp the living fuck out of you.
We have.
You're gonna curb stomp titties? They're just gonna be all squished.
Oh god damn it!
At least there's boot prints on them.
There you go.
We need to move on before this gets any
we do,
worse.
because they're just titties everywhere, man. Our next piece of mail comes from Joseph McAuliffe, and Joseph, who writes us letters all the time, says, "Good day, Johns. Good day to you."
Hello!
He says, "First, I'd like to say I'm loving the Rageaholics hair metal cover band, Fisted Sister.
Yes.
His version, You're Not Gonna Take It, brings tears to my eyes.
Yes.
Secondly, lately it seems that great game developers of old have just been coasting along on their old reputation. It's kind of like Metallica. They were great in the beginning with Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, then they went mainstream with the Black Album and finally moved on to sue their fans and put out trash like Saint Anger. Meanwhile, the old fans passing along their love to the younger, i.e. the older brother telling the younger brother, you gotta check these guys out, they kick ass. My question to you is, which gaming studio do you feel has coasted the most on their reputation for far too long, and how would you want to change their operating policies? Keep the hate flowing. P.S. I'd love to see a Hate Bit podcast now in 3D t-shirt when in the Hate store when it's up. The Hate store? I've never been to the Hate store.
No, never
I
been.
want a hate store.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was a hate story, it'd just be stuffed by Sinead O'Connor.
You're the one that got everyone
It's
excited with
1990s
your.
ago, yeah.
You're the one
I
that
don't
got
know.
everyone excited with your hate bit T-shirt that you did.
I know, right? Well, in my opinion, everyone's just kind of been coasting on their own fucking reputation for a long time now.
Yes, we do it quite well.
You know,
Square Enix.
there,
Yeah.
I was going to go with Square Enix.
Square fucking Enix, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, recently they've begun to snap out of it a little bit, but man, you can't deny they from about 1997 to 2011 at least. They were completely stuck somewhere, you know, in the late 90s. They just completely coasted. But yeah.
No, they're definitely a good example. Who do I want to throw out there under the bus? I'm a stickler for the fucking classics. Yeah, Capcom's been coasting on their fucking name forever, and the namesakes of their endless fucking franchises that they abuse to no end, whipping them against the fucking pole and whatnot. So yeah, I'll stick with them until they give us things like, you know, me and RazörFist have been demanding for how many years now? Breath of fucking Fire. Yeah, that'd be super if you remembered that existed, or God Hand 2, or another Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts.
No. We can't make Breath of Fire sequel. We have to make brand new RPGs like Dragon's Dogma that are half fucking finished.
Yeah, I always love those. I don't like to have a half decent narrative. That, you know, fuck all that noise. That shit's overrated, and you know, and also when I was mentioning earlier, Haunting Ground and Clock Tower, yeah, fuck those games too, because apparently no one likes them at all except for this jackass mentioning them.
Because survival horror doesn't make money.
Oh, so. Yes, oh man, you know, I'm so glad that you said that. I am oddly forgetful because it doesn't turn a fucking profit except for, you know, Dead Space and Resident Evil and Dead Rising and House of the Dead and a shitload of other survival horror-esque fucking titles that have been churning out money like nobody's goddamn fucking business. But you know, that's my that's me, Capcom. That's what I say.
My choice is easy. Nintendo. Because they seem to think that we're still in 1985 and they're the next big cheese on the block.
You're kind of right. I gotta agree with you.
Yep.
Nintendo has.
I agree. You're kind of right, but you're kind of wrong too.
Come on, where am I wrong on that one? Come on.
Well, has Nintendo ever? Well, you know what? You realize that Nintendo is here's the difference. See, Capcom refers to a grouping, the single solitary company. Same thing with Square Enix. It's a single solitary company, you know, with a few outlying. Nintendo is this massive umbrella. So yeah, there's a good amount of Nintendo. There's a whole bunch of shit going on over here. So you like RazörFist said, you're kind of right.
Kind of right? I'm just kind of.
You know, well, I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, Nintendo has done whatever they can to stretch the flying fuck out of Mario. We know that.
They've given us what?
And Zelda, absolutely.
Games this year.
And and Donkey Kong, the guy who started it all, is playing Conga games or something?
No. Donkey Kong Country Returns is a legit good game.
No, I agree. I have that. You
awesome.
Realize that's a diamond in the rough as far as Donkey Kong games in the last however many years.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know who I have to throw under the bus, and I have to say honestly? Sega.
Yeah.
Oh, Sega, right. You're so right.
Because I have so many people, and I still get mail, even though we've talked about it, and we've all done videos about Sega and their possible return to the handheld to the hardware market. The fact remains, this Sony that you know couldn't turn out jack shit if asked. What's the most poignant series they have? Yakuza.
Oh, you're talking about? You said Sony. Actually, it's Sega.
Yeah, you said Sony.
No, it's Sega.
No, you said Sony.
No, you said Sony.
Did I say Sony?
Do you want me to play this shit back and?
You should edit this shit. You know, you could have backed me up. Fuck you, Sega. It's just a bunch of shit. And so Sony doesn't have a reputation. You out of your goddamn mind? Why would I say Sony?
Well, here's the thing. If we did not mention it, you already know for a fact there'd be 19 comments. You meant Sega, right, Chaos? You meant Sega, correct?
Well, you know, it's hot.
And they actually say that.
I'm looking from the heat.
Although Sainted, even though you're a fanboy, you have to agree, at least for a while there. Not so much anymore, but at least for a while there, Sony definitely rested on their laurels a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They still think that Gran Turismo is that he's still like Gran Turismo from 1998. You know?
Yeah.
Well, even that being said, Sony doesn't really have much of a reputation, period. Their biggest reputation is the Betamax and the Dream Machine alarm clock.
And the Blu-ray that doesn't work.
Yeah, computer entertainment on the other hand. But my point of view was Sega. Sega has been resting on Sonic the Hedgehog for far too long and driving him into the fucking ground, I might add. So it seems to me that everybody, in fact, if you pay attention to our show at all, you'll see that everybody has been sitting on their ass waiting for everything to be fucking handed to them.
Yep.
Except
Waiting for the next console generation.
Oh, yeah, because, that's just going to make everything okay all over again, right?
Yeah, well, and it's like, how is that going to change anything? I mentioned Square Enix at the beginning. God, I said they had been basically the same since 1997. How many console generations have come and gone since then?
3.
8 or 9 or
3. And they haven't even batted an eyelash until the last year. For Christ's sake.
3.
This is the fundamental fact, and I think we all have to agree on this. If the fans don't hold the companies to a higher standard, the companies will sit there like a bump on a log and do the same shit.
Exactly what happened.
Year in and year out.
Fanboys are literally the bottom of the barrel, and the thing that makes me fucking sick is that if you churn out shit and put a fucking label on it that people are familiar with, they'll go and say that it's gold. And the fucking people with common sense that are true fans will say, no, I remember this being really awesome. You just handed me a piece of shit wrapped in a fucking label. Can I please have the really cool thing that you were making before? And people won't fucking do that. And if you say that it's a piece of shit, all of a sudden you're the fucking Antichrist. So...
Well, and that's the funny thing is a lot of people say, thank goodness for the 8-Bit podcast and, you guys saying what you say. And my question is, why doesn't everybody say this?
You should.
Why
you all
are we
have
the only
voices
people who are
just like
speaking up
us.
about... Yeah,
everybody
and all you have to do...
Everybody else wants to make money off their podcast. That's why.
Oh, that's right. Did I mention fuck that guy with the glasses.com? Did I mention that?
No, but you have now.
I have now, exactly. We'll never be on there. We'll never make any money. God damn it. I've just doomed us all. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
So, but yeah, I mean, would we agree that, everybody's kind of been sitting on their ass for at least the last couple of years?
Yep.
It's honestly, this console gen has shown that they really were just like, look how well we did last gen. I don't think we really need to try that hard this time. They'll just buy it.
It's the same people that insisted that this industry is recession-proof.
Oh, yeah.
How'd
that work out for you?
Yeah. we hope you did very well, and we hope that your stock portfolio doesn't, get cut in half overnight. But, yeah, so that's going to do it for the 8-Bit ball bag here at halftime.
That took forever.
Yeah, I know, right? And if you have any questions, comments, concerns of any kind, please drop us a line at 8bitpodcast@gmail.com. And if you think you got a better name than the 8-Bit body bag and the 8-Bit ball bag for the mail bag, please let us know at the email address provided. You know what? It's time. It's time for the video game Circle Jerk. Oh my goodness, you guys have been asking for one of these for a long time, so we're going to tell you all about games all over your face. The first one, Sainted Magnus. What you been playing, man?
Oh, I've got a long list that I've been playing. Where do I start? Right.
You've been on holiday, so you've had nothing but time to play.
well, let's see. I started on the Max Payne trilogy. I started on Max Payne 1. I've thrown in a bit of Tomb Raider Underworld because I've been wanting to play that for a while now and I've not had the chance, but now I've actually got the chance to play it. I'm actually enjoying it. Finished the Saboteur recently. Fantastic game. Ending was a bit iffy. What else have I been doing? No handheld recently. That's a plus. Yeah, and a bit of F-Zero and Killer Instinct just because they're fun. That's
nice.
about it.
What F-Zero? The original?
The original.
Nice.
Very good.
That's a good one.
Well, if you actually watch some of my videos, I do actually own it. So I did pick it up like last month before we went.
The one on GameCube really isn't bad. It's actually a good game.
That one got a lot of backlash for some reason. I think it's because it was a Sega-produced game.
Yeah,
Dude,
I actually really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, all I can say is fuck anybody that gave that game backlash. If anybody is listening and you played the game, you know damn well it is fucking absolutely amazing. Whenever I heard Sega was taking a hold of the franchise, I was excited because Sega racing games, I haven't played a bad Sega racing game. Literally.
Ever. Yeah. Ever.
Like Sega, when they make racing games, they're the shit. And Sega plus F-Zero, one of the fastest racing series ever on a GameCube, which has a fucking horsepower for a game like that, and it showed. Graphically, very nice. The storyline with its horrendous voice acting was fucking awesome for me. And, I mean, why do you want to be an F-Zero racer? I was born to race. Like, it's fucking amazing. It made me happy, but it's seriously one of the best racing games ever. But fuck anybody that says different.
Well, have you ever played the arcade counterpart for that game?
I've been dying to just see one in person, let alone play it.
I've actually, it's funny is because every time I've seen one, they've been broken. And I think there's a reason for that. Because if you see one, they got this great big, piston system that kind of swings the cab from side to side. And I got to get in one that works. And
then you
I'm
broke
not a
it.
small man.
And then you broke it.
I can't believe I didn't. I'm not a small man. I'm about 6 feet tall and I weigh about 230 pounds.
That's why you broke it.
I don't know what that is in stone, but I remember riding this thing and it's swinging me from side to side, and I'm hearing this thing going, having trouble with me.
Like the fucking head from Prometheus.
Exactly. It's like maybe this shouldn't be going so fast. But
sounds like a baby raptor dying.
Actually, I was actually doing Ronnie Cox from the first Total Recall. Everyone will die.
Anyway, the only Total Recall, because the other one's a lie.
I know. Anyway, Alpha Mason, what you been playing, man?
Well, I was gonna say was Mr. Magnus still? Did you have more?
I think he was done, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much done.
Oh, all right. Okay. Let's see. I've played a whole crapload of stuff as well. Let's see. I played Sonic Generations a whole bunch whenever I was in Ohio and played Comic Zone. Because my friend only had a couple games, and that was the Sonic's Genesis Collection and Sonic Generations. Whenever I got back, though, I played through Lego Batman 2 and beat that. I played Blood Rain, the newer one on PSN Xbox Live Arcade. I played through that and beat that. What was
How
the
is
other
that,
game?
by the way?
It's really good. It's got amazing music. Like, holy shit, is the music awesome in it. Like, very, very awesome. It's honestly better than the original ones just because it doesn't have like nearly as glitchy gameplay and the camera to fucking fiddle with, but it's really good. I'm iffy on the art sometimes because it looks too Saturday morning anime-ish, but it's still good otherwise. It's a very nice looking 2D side-scrolling game, worth checking out. And if you're a PlayStation Gold member, you get the game for free, so you can't beat a free game. At least check out the demo. But played through that, enjoyed the shit out of it. The Walking Dead episodes 1 and 2, I got those, and they were a lot of fun. The company makes them, Telltale Games, is they do a really good job with all their stuff, and this was no exception. And if you like the Walking Dead show, or if you like the comics, it's
Jurassic
awesome.
Park.
Oh wait, what's now?
You actually said they did. Telltale Games do well with the games. Jurassic Park.
I never played that.
The game isn't that bad. It's just a poor man's Heavy Rain.
And even so, there's an exception to every rule.
Yeah, I was gonna say legitimately, I've actually never played it. I played Monkey Island and I played the Back to the Future games. That's my catalog of games from them. But I liked both of those. So yeah, so everything I've played from them thus far has been pretty good. But yeah, other than that, and I started playing Assassin's Creed Revelations online because I'd never really played it online before, and I'm okay. That's all I can really say. I'm okay at it. Not really great because it's been a long time since I played Assassin's Creed, and yeah, that is it literally for me. So I don't know, Chaos Fist, somebody.
Well, I'll say for me, I played a bunch of games over the last little while, because we went to the Classic Gaming Expo and I got to try out all kinds of arcade cabinets, and I really hate Mortal Kombat. I just want to come out and say that. Because my wife beat my ass at Mortal Kombat over and over again. So fuck Mortal Kombat and whoever brought the Mortal Kombat cabinet to the Classic Gaming Expo. And you know what? Today, this is going to give away when we record the podcast, but today was launch day for New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I picked that up. Haven't played it yet, but I'm going to try it right after the podcast, and we'll talk more about it in the next Video Game Circle Jerk. RazörFist, what you been playing, man?
I have, for the purposes of my next review, I've been playing Dragon's Dogma. And I have been playing... What's up?
You poor man.
I know. I was kind of pulled in two different directions. My editor really enjoyed the game, so I was like, okay, maybe it'll be good. And then I got
That's
one or
not
two
going to go well.
got one or two other friends who thought it was good, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll be decent. But then I heard all these terrible things, and I have to confirm that most of the terrible things are correct.
Do you want to know what I thought it was trying to be? I thought it was trying to be a poor man's Dark Souls or Demon Souls.
It felt very Demon Souls.
It was very,
much.
very Demon Souls, but he didn't have the actual, the need to time when you're going to attack, when you're going to defend and stuff.
Yeah, and I could have lived without knowing that every single person on my Xbox Live friends list is a pedophile. That would have been nice. Because the pawn system basically exposes any sexual fetish anybody on your friends list has. And so suddenly I'm walking around, there's little underage elf girls in booty shorts and tube tops. It's like I could have lived without knowing that. Thanks, deleting people from my friends list. Anyways, so I have also been playing Saints Row the Third, and I've been playing
That's a fun game.
I've been playing Warriors Orochi 3. And that's what I've been down to. All good games, except for the first one.
Oh, there's one more thing I want to add. I don't know how the fuck I forgot about it, and I feel like a dumb dildo. While going to and from Ohio, Kingdom Hearts 3D on the 3DS, I picked that up. And yeah, it took some getting used to because all the new features and everything. But yeah, so far, pretty fucking good. It's been a while since I played Kingdom Hearts game, but yeah, that was the other game I forgot to mention.
Now, is that game a true sequel? Or is it just another...
It's moving forward, but it's not a Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a Kingdom Hearts 3D, but it's moving forward. That's something that I do like. It's not like, all right, random side story number XX and everything. But yeah, we're still waiting for a true sequel, and I don't know if they're ever going to fucking muster up the courage to actually craft one, and it bothers me to no end because Kingdom Hearts 2 came out so many fucking years ago. I don't even remember when.
2004, I think.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah, it's getting close to like it's just shy under a decade, and it's like, all right, when are you gonna get on that? Sometime soon.
Anytime now, you know.
Yeah, whenever you make a fucking ending, like it, they'll have the secret trailers and endings and whatnot, and where it's like part 3 is definitely coming out. And I wish that they would have just given like an exact year so everybody could have fucking chuckled at them. But yeah. But and Saints Row the Third, I'm glad that you're playing that because that game is fucking it's so fun to run around in. Like it is.
Oh, it's a great game until Sasha Gray's character opens her mouth. Then there's a problem.
No, I was gonna say, I'm talking about just the overall experience. You have a big floppy purple dildo, and you're knocking people across the street, jumping inside a car that sucks up people, and launching them through fucking billboards.
Oh
awesome.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's basically everything that Grand Theft Auto has not been.
It like for instance, it's actually fun to drive. Who would have thought of that? That's weird.
I like driving. I found that fun.
No, in Grand Theft Auto 4, no. Driving in Grand Theft Auto 4 is like having your nuts in a fucking vice. You want to go and have a bunch of fun, but you can't because they keep on squeezing, and they're going to pop eventually. And you do. You pop right out of a fucking windshield from hitting that curb a little too hard or hitting granny.
That's just funny, though.
To me, and I'm going to go... I mean, I have to go on with a little bit of a rant here, but to me, the fucking English language lacks adequate descriptors to convey how disappointed I am with, how the Grand Theft Auto has, they kind of went from that 80s retro, like, just having fun, kind of, a little bit zany, you're running around in a tank blowing shit up, They've gone from that in favor of just eternally retelling that jaded dark side of the American dream parable. You know what I mean?
Well, that's every Liberty City game, though.
Exactly. Just drop the bats, Rockstar. That horse is dead. All right.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rockstar, amazing company. Also, a
they're
very,
great,
very amazing company. But man, are they need to realize genuinely why people pick up a GTA game. Yeah, and they know the reason why, but they want to tell you that this is the reason why you're actually playing through the story. And it's just, no, we just want to fucking be assholes and have fun.
Yeah, long story short, loosen the fuck up, Rockstar. Engage in have some Grand Theft Auto fellatio if you have to. All right, but give us back our fun.
Yeah, that would be super. So yeah, so nice. Nice gaming circle jerk we have.
Yeah,
Quite
I
a
know.
mess.
We got it all over their faces, and I think they enjoy
Hey,
it.
maybe we can sell the mess on the hate store. That'll be nice.
That's right. That's a great idea, folks. Would you do me a favor? Just scrape that off your face into a standard what was it, like a 2x5 envelope and a self-addressed stamped envelope. Please drop it in line and send us to here at the 8-Bit Podcast, and we'll sell it, and we'll make millions of dollars. We won't even need a Kickstarter. We'll sell the stuff, and it'll be great.
And all those illegitimate children, we have nothing to do with them. So.
No, and we're helping the overpopulation thing. We are a damn fine podcast. We're just helping out everybody. We are unstoppable philanthropists. But anyway, speaking of unstoppable philanthropists, Ubisoft.
Can I just, before we move on,
go ahead.
I just want to. I've done a bit of research on Kingdom Hearts 2. The release year was 2005. So
okay,
7 years off a deck. 7 years old.
Yeah, nice. So see, all they have to do is if they want to hit the Terminator pedigree, they just wait another 6 or 7 years and then get Claire Danes, and that'll just fix everything.
Yeah, and then the world ends, and
yeah,
we get Terminator Salvation, which is.
Can we? No. I'm gonna stop you right now because otherwise everyone's gonna get depressed.
We're bringing the mood back down.
I know. Let's step it back up. Speaking of unstoppable philanthropists, over at Ubisoft, they got a bunch of really smart people, and the people that insist that I swear the rabbits are going to catch on, but whatever. Alex Hutchins from Ubisoft said, you guessed it, some really stupid shit. And for more, we go to RazörFist. What kind of stupid shit did Alex Hutchins say, RazörFist?
He essentially suggested that the gaming journalism field has engaged in benevolent racism with the Japanese industry by not requiring them to write good stories. Basically, they will give a pass to indulgent emo dreck like the crap that's been, foisted on us by the Final Fantasy series for the last several years. Or Magna Carta or any given, Nihongo-philic RPG, and basically just give them a pass and whatever. And that they say that that's racism at the end of the day, and that America's just being racist towards the Japanese, which is, come on. I mean, we're talking about Japan here. You want racist? Well, because unlike this shrieking shitbag, I've actually been to Japan. So... listen up. Because as far as I'm concerned, no matter how racist, and I said this before the podcast, no matter how much the most racist, like beer-swilling, possum-fucking redneck in Alabama claims to hate the Japanese, he can never hate them even a fraction as much as the Japanese hate absolutely anyone who isn't Japanese. And that mentality definitely does seep down into their game industry as well. I mean, I remember... I think in school I heard about the Prime Minister of Japan in about 1986. He made a public statement purporting the reason why Japanese students have so much higher test scores than Americans is that, and I fucking quote, Japan doesn't have to worry about minorities like Puerto Ricans or blacks lowering their overall average. The Prime Minister of Japan, folks.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Shit!
I mean, that's the equivalent of President Bush calling Nelson Mandela a moon cricket. I mean, what the fuck? That is ridiculous.
I know I've been pegged for saying some shit, but that is some shit right there, boy. Japan talking shit.
I mean, Japan is making bad games. Shinji Mikami admits it. Hideo Kojima admits it. Akira Yamaoka admits it. Which, by the way, Ubisoft Montreal, the fact that they make bad games, it gives them something in common with you, fuckbags. Wake me up when you make a decent Splinter Cell title, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah,
But journalists are subtly racist because they give a shitty JRPG a free pass for having a proportionately shitty narrative. No, that's perfectly understandable. What kind of fucking argument is that? Grass doesn't come in any other color than green, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
It does if you're tripping real hard.
Oh,
I could eat alphabet soup, and 7 hours later, I could literally shit a fucking better argument than that.
I'll bet you could.
And with fewer grammatical errors.
And for some reason, punctuation. Anyway, you know what else we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about, speaking of stupid shit going over at Ubisoft. What is this I'm hearing about Ubisoft's UPlay? What do
Oh,
we know about this? What is this going on here? Anyone?
basically, it's a service that's similar to OnLive and Origin and Steam, where it's basically Ubisoft exclusive games are going to be on this service, and it's just basically giving you digital games. That's all it is. It's the same shit as Origin.
Gee, and when's this going to kick off? Like December of 2009?
Yeah.
Whenever they
Yeah.
can be asked to fucking do it.
Unbelievable. So is that the big news coming out of Ubisoft? My
That's
God.
it. Move over, Origin.
Yeah,
There's
no-
a new third wheel in town.
Yeah, this is a company who has consistently, throughout however many years and generations of gaming, have looked at an oversaturated market and said, "Me too."
I know. It's like
So-
watching. It's like watching three obese puppies fighting over the same mother's nipple. You know, the problem is the dog is fucking dead, and they're fighting over powdered milk. As far as
Actually, actually, it more seems like when the History Channel tries to introduce another show. It's like,
what's that? Siberian truckers? Yeah, this will be
Yeah.
interesting.
I swear that channel should have changed their name to the Poor Life Choices Network a long time ago. But anyway, you know what? We got a big one. Sainted Magnus has been excited about this for a while. The Neo Geo X Gold handheld price point has been announced, and you're not going to be as excited as you thought you were. Sainted Magnus, what's that price point?
It is $200 or
Woo!
£130 UK. British sterling, we'll say.
Ah, my good. Now you're excited about this. What does this entail, Sainted
Well,
Magnus?
I'm just going to break it down here. Why it's actually better to actually get this thing than getting an AES. Now, I know I'm a retro gamer. Or I like classic games and stuff like that. I like original hardware like the next guy. But when you don't have much money to spend on this original hardware, how are you going to do it? Obviously, emulation. So, but you don't want to have an emulator on your PC all the time because it might have a bug on it, or you can't set up the joypad that you're going to use. Well, that's where Neo Geo comes in with this new handheld that they're releasing. Basically, it comes with two extra little bits. It comes with an AES charging dock with a cartridge slot where you put the Neo Geo X Gold thing in to keep it charged up, and you also get a little joystick. Now, this charging bay does two things. One, charges up your Neo Geo X. Plus, you can hook it up to your TV via HDMI or S-Video or whatever good shit you want to do with it, and play it on your TV. And you've got 20 games on there. Now, the pricing $200. Fantastic price. Now, the reason being, again, you want to buy an AES, you're going to be spending that much money on just the console alone. Then you got the games to fund for it. You know, I did a bit of research on this, and I worked out the cheapest I could find for all the games on the Neo Geo and the system itself. I was getting close to $10,000, just because some of these games are $600 or $700 each. So this actually makes very good money. Basically you can spend your fucking money on this and then buy other games. Now, I hope that this thing gets abused and gets jailbroken so I can put extra games on the damn thing. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. Anyway, somebody pick it up. Come on.
I
your
can't
opinion.
because I've already babbled about it, unless Mr. Chaos had something to say.
Well, my overall point of view is, and I've been thinking about this, folks, for those of you who don't know, Sainted Magnus and I, once in a while, we talk to each other, we, in passing in text message or whatnot. Usually it consists of fuck you and, oh, that's a shame you didn't catch fire. But, this time we actually had an honest-to-God conversation about, the release of this console. And it was a big deal when we mentioned it last season and how, it's going to be this great big thing and we thought it was going to be expandable. And I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's really neat. I think $200 is a bit much for, some 20-year-old games. But be that as it may, if you want to get it, please do. Spend your money wherever you want to, except on Kickstarters because I said so.
Unless it's ours.
I know, right? Well, that's shh. You gotta calm down. They're gonna find out what we're talking about. Anyway, so I hope it does well. I hope it sells pretty well, but I don't think it's gonna be a great big success. I really don't. I think that the time for this thing to come out was some years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
I mean,
again,
I hope for the best. I really do.
it's the pricing I'm more impressed with. And
I think anything else, what's going to kill this thing is it's going to get jailbroken, and there's going to be all kinds of homebrew software for it, and no one's going to buy anything else for it. Unless that's not part of their business model. I don't know what their plan is. But
yeah, they've been a bit hush-hush with it.
yeah, it's like, because they haven't really been clear as to whether they want to compete head-to-head with the other, handhelds in the market, or if they're just going for that whole nostalgia thing. It's kind of unclear, and that may work to their advantage. Only time will tell.
Yeah, but they've done it before with the Genesis. They
Yeah, that's true, but that was also for a much lower price point, and it didn't. Those seem more like nostalgia machines than anything else.
yeah, they were, because what was it, 35 pounds, which is what.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that's the thing is that
$40.
the Neo Geo X is going to be competing with those, not against the 3DS and the Vita and shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be competing against that. But the main problems that I have with this one, I think the price point's too high for what it is.
I agree.
I do like the fact that you can plug this into a console. You get a full arcade stick, just like the Neo Geo Gold, AES and everything, and it can plug in via HDMI on a high-def TV. I think that's really awesome and everything, because you would have to, if you had a regular AES, you would have to, rip the thing apart to do something like that. And that's a lot of work and a lot of tech-savvy know-how. But beyond that, you have to keep in mind, look on the PlayStation Store right now. A lot of the games that this thing is toting are already available on there. And I don't know, because I don't have a Vita, but, are these games going to be available on the Vita as well? If you already have a Vita, couldn't you just download these games? So that means that it's indirectly competing with the Vita in a way, and with the PlayStation 3 to some extent, because you can buy an arcade stick for the PlayStation 3 and
I'm pretty sure most of these games are available on the PlayStation Network or Xbox Live.
That's the thing. I think right now the biggest saving grace of this thing is it being jailbroken, to be honest, because they haven't announced that they're going to make any more like game packs or something. It would have been better if they just said flat out, okay, we're going to offer you a fucking smorgasbord of games. I'm talking like rare ones that have not been on any compilation before. And, like Waku Waku 7, I always bring that one up, but it's an absurdly expensive game. Or if you ever try getting an actual cart for SNK versus Capcom Chaos, that game is fucking expensive as well. Or the later Metal Slug games and shit like that. If it included stuff like that, I could justify the price point just a little bit more. But as it stands right now, it's a little bit much to swallow. That's what she said. So that's my
the most overused quote on the internet. Well, that's what
I don't mind. I'll abuse it until it's black and blue. And then
the most overused quote is fucking. That's a straw man argument. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what's.
I thought the most overused was anything about Chuck Norris.
That's possible.
Oh, just mention his name.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see how it does, but does anybody really think it's going to be the hot shit item for this holiday season?
Here's the thing. SNK and Neo Geo are niche. They have been and always will be. I love them dearly, and I'm sitting right beside a fucking Neo Geo arcade cabinet, for fuck's sake. This is part of my childhood and has always been, and I still follow the company and love them to death. But unless they have some amazing marketing strategy and actually plan on putting this into retail stores to get the word out there, it's not going to do as well as they want unless they make them in limited quantities.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. But, they're still not very clear on who this is for. It seems like it's too much to try, too much money spent to try and capture an old nostalgic feeling for a smattering of games.
Yeah, especially with it being available on so many fucking platforms.
So many other platforms.
You can get it on iPad, on an iPhone, on Android phones, on a computer, on a laptop, on a PlayStation 3. You can rig your PlayStation Portable to be able to play this stuff. You can get it on the virtual. It's so fucking many things have this stuff. And that's
what would really save this thing? You know what would save this thing and make it a real competitor if they released Metal Slug 8 for it?
Oh,
but since there's no proprietary slot, it doesn't make the slightest difference.
Yeah, it would just get hacked, and a game would
Exactly.
magically pop up on there.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's all we really have to say about the Neo Geo X Gold. We hope it does well, but only time will tell. And the holiday season is approaching. It is approaching.
I'm happy for it, and I'm hoping that it comes out. Oh, and it's out.
Oh,
Good.
It's out December.
I'm
6th.
happy for it too. I hope that they have more in store and a lower price point somewhere.
So, is it safe to say that Sainted Magnus, you'll be just blabbering on about it in season 3 after you get all your Christmas presents?
Oh, when I bought it, and I'm enjoying Neo Geo goodness on a proper TV instead of having to hack an item or download it off somewhere, and I've actually got it as a physical piece of kit. I'll be happy.
And Ian, tell everybody all about it,
Yeah.
won't you?
And then I'll be laughing in your faces when it's actually I'm right and you're wrong.
Well, there you go. You'll have that, and you'll have one more thing that validates you as a human. But until then, it's happened.
Shit.
It's time. It's time. We're reaching the end of the podcast.
Already?
It's time.
Already?
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? That just season premiere just went by. But you know what? It's time for my favorite part and your favorite part. The man himself is gonna grace us with some words. Mr. RazörFist, you have a rant for us, I heard?
I just thought I could rant on over the past, during the interim of our hiatus, basically, Hideo Kojima came out and declared his intent, or his desire at least. He hasn't flat out confirmed, but he's declared his desire to create a Silent Hill game using his Fox engine. That it's called the Fox engine, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Fox Engine 2 is his new one.
I thought it would be appropriate because in the season finale of the Hate But podcast, we, along with Mr. Johnny Millennium,
Yay.
shout out for you, we voiced our dismay in relation to the Silent Hill Revelation 3D trailer, but I mean, this happened with relatively little fanfare. He publicly floated the idea of developing the game himself. You'd think it would be a bigger deal. I haven't heard many people talk about it. Now, granted, Hideo Kojima could spend $5 just compiling junk code, and it would still be eminently superior to the pixelated piss take that is the upcoming Silent Hill dungeon crawler book of fucking memories.
Jesus.
No question in my mind. But I still feel the need to temper the enthusiasm of the chorus of erect fanboy micro-dongs that greeted this announcement with a reaction somewhere just below out-of-body religious experience, okay? Beyond the simple fact that Jim Sterling was the one directing the fucking choir, which should already send up a red flag large enough for Sterling himself to wear as a bib, Kojima fans, I want you to pause, all right? I want you to take stock and actually consider Hideo Kojima's output and developmental sensibilities for a moment, okay? That's right, deep breaths, okay. Is there a place within the atmospheric isolation and protracted psychosomatic agony that is Silent Hill for bullet time sequences or 55-minute needlessly indulgent cutscenes? I mean, would the ending to Silent Hill 2 have been enhanced by a tacked-on anti-war sentiment culled from Alex Jones' conspiracy dipshittery at the 11th fucking hour? I know Silent Hill 3 had some wonky-ass alternate outfits, but one accessory I know for a fact it did not come packaged with was a tinfoil hat, and I, for one, aim to keep it that way. I've made no secret of my disdain for Metal Gear Solid, and fuck, even the one Kojima game that I do enjoy, the Sega CD game, Snatcher, is at the end of the day a flagrant ripoff of Blade Runner, and we all know it. And really, why play a ripoff of Blade Runner? Well, you could just play the Blade Runner PC game with better graphics, more multiple story paths, and actual voice work from the original film actors. I'm not saying you have to loathe Hideo Kojima as much as I do. We can't all spend that much money burning voodoo dolls in effigy, after all. Variety is the spice of life, and Nihongophilic fanboys who beat it raw to underage anime schoolgirls perform a very valuable service for me. They give me someone to hate whose name I can actually pronounce. All I'm arguing is that for a game series that prefers to let you discover the horror, to then turn around and hire a producer known for showing you, plot point by batshit plot point, exactly what the story of his games are, is a strategy with more flaws than benefits as far as I'm concerned. It's true. I mean, Star Power does sell games, and whether it's his Ellen DeGeneres good looks or his black frame Weezer glasses, Hideo Kojima, for reasons that have long since caused me to question the theory of intelligent design, possesses something vaguely resembling Star Power, but stars can fall. Don't believe me? book a flight to Colorado Springs and have yourself a 15-minute T-side chat with John Romero, why don't you? I'm RazörFist, go fuck yourself.
And you go fuck yourself.
Yay!
Yay!
That's great, and it's always great to hear RazörFist have a great big rant. He's good at it, isn't he? Isn't he good? Yay, everyone! No, I must say that was fantastic, RazörFist. And everyone thinks that must be the end of the show, but I disagree, because we're going to throw you a curveball here on the Hate Bit Podcast, and I'm going to do something right now that a lot of people have been asking for. They've been asking for some positivity on the Hate Bit Podcast. And when they ask for positivity on the Hate Bit Podcast, I have to reply, have you heard the Hate Bit Podcast? Because that's really that's not really our thing, I mean, and I sat over the entire break and I said, how can we rectify this? There's got to be a way to make these people happy and make ourselves happy and just, make it a good experience overall. So I'm going to give the very first Hate Bit Inspirational. And what am I going to give an inspirational about? I'm giving an inspirational about the future of gaming. And a lot of people say, where do you see console gaming going? Do you think that PC gaming will overtake it? I don't know. I really don't know. But what I know, friends, well-wishers, and, distinguished guests of the Hate Bit Podcast, I must say that we are at a crossroads. We are. We are at this point where the choices we make will forever change gaming. We are at a point where the tyrants, the ones who sit on the hill and coast on their reputation, the ones who blame you for why the industry is in the shitter, there is time, and you've noticed that the giants are falling. This is entropy, and that the world, the industry, everything around us is changing, and that's a good thing, because now we can rectify the wrongs. We can make all that, the past transgressions, we can do away with them, and we can make this a brighter day for all. So, I implore you, Hater Nation, and the gaming community, the entire world, I implore all of you to realize that now we can really take it back. This is the time. This is the crux you were looking for. So I implore you, raise your voice, raise your fist, and raise your glasses. This is a new age in gaming. Thank you very much. You guys have been great. Joining me as always has been the ravishing RazörFist.
He's died.
Au revoir. Oh, remember, folks, you can order your Hideo Kojima voodoo doll today from the Rageaholic web store.
The astonishing Alpha Omega Sin.
I couldn't think of anything clever. Hey, I don't know how to tie a tie. I've never tied a tie before. It's so fucking weird, I was thinking about that just now. Anyway, thanks for coming back, everybody. Yay!
The Super Slav Saints Magnus.
Is that all you can choose for me?
You'll get a new one next week. Just go on with it, goddammit.
The Super Suave Sainted Magnus. All right, General Patton. Let's
add in super ultra awesome luscious.
Let's just make it simple. Super Saiyan Sainted Magnus. SSSM.
Yes.
Like BDSM, but different, right?
Have you been reading 50 Shades of Grey? I think he has. He now knows what an anal butt plug is.
See, now I got to get on the internet and find out what that is so I can say nuh-uh. Anyway, it happened. You guys spent another great big chunk of your life into the Hate Bit Podcast. We thank you for inviting us back, and we hope to see you next week. You guys have been great, and we have been, as I said, the Hate Bit Podcast. See ya!
Fuck you.
Oh.